did nothing wrong. And everything I just said was PG.
Well, it would be fun to have her. I don't know. Don't put this.
Leave it out.
It'd be fun to have her on if she was down to talk about that.
Really? You're going to cut all this out, right? All right.
Oh, no.
And now we're starting.
Oh, my God.
We're cutting everything we just said out.
Woo, yeah, cut all that.
That was bad.
All right. Wow, Mary.
I've done some bad things in my life, Mark.
Well, that's on her.
And me.
Ah.
Yeah, it was almost on her, I'll tell you that much. All right. Cut that part out,
dude.
too. What the fuck are you doing?
You're describing her now.
Incriminating.
Okay. Now we start.
No, you can keep that in. Just cut that
names.
part.
Yeah.
We'll bleep it.
The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Dragnet.
What is this, Fargo? Out of respect for the survivors.
Don't you hate when they say based on a true story? Just tell me the true story.
Well, guess what? Fargo, it's not a true story. They're just doing that because they did that with the movie and it was like a cool, but then they're like, this is all the events that are being told actually happened. Then they're like, they haven't.
Of course.
If you watch the show, you're like, that ain't fucking real.
No, but what a great story, Fargo.
It was fun.
The fucking car salesman guy, William H. Macy, killed it. The Francis McDormand as the cop with the cop husband, that was great. It's such a good story. Buscemi, the other guy.
Oh, dude. I mean, we've played it so many times at this pod, but the grandpa getting killed.
Ooh, yeah.
Right in the gut. And it's so fucking... This is how good the Coen brothers are, is they will do the most violent shit.
Yeah. And
they'll do it in kind of a funny way.
Yes. And the genius of the Coen brothers, they have the best character actors in cinema. Ever. When what's his face? Javier Bardem goes to that gas station in the middle of nowhere, and that guy behind the counter, he's like, heads or tails? The guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Boy, whatever. And they're all great.
You're right. They're all killers. Also, Javier Bardem, just with that fucking haircut.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Oh, wait, gotta get the sound on for that. We've watched this so many times.
The fucking joke here?
Happy Sounds like Sam when he comes on a roof.
You almost expect him to call me young whippersnapper right as he dies.
Yeah. Surprised they kept that take. I guess it's pretty realistic.
Yeah, it's pretty damn fucking dark.
Yeah.
This whole movie is like pure neo-noir, man. You know what I watched last night for the first time? By the way, anyone who... I hear, how many young people do you complain? They're like, I have insomnia. You're like, all right, what do you do right before bed? They're like, I watch Prisoners and then The Exorcist. I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder if that's playing a role.
Right. Because Night Stalker, it's all true crime.
It's all true crime or just a dark movie.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a screen.
Yep.
You're looking at your computer. I'm like, no more. I might not do a TV in the bedroom ever.
I don't do that.
I don't have one in my bedroom.
Too much.
I think it might be a bad idea because now I force myself to read and I fall asleep.
Reading works.
But I did watch Sicario before bed. I'd never seen it.
Amazing.
You never seen it?
I had always dated a woman who had seen it. So every time it came up, they were like, I've already seen it. I'm like, well, I want to see it.
Right.
And, and it was one of those that was like, it was always like a little too late on the road. And the last night I was like, fuck it, I'm watching it. Man, Benicio is cool.
Oh, yeah. That is an underrated film. I don't feel like people talked about it enough. It's so good.
That writer, Taylor Sheridan's just...
Is that him?
Yeah, he's just kind of a beast.
He's great.
He did fucking Hell or High Water. He did so many good movies.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And Yellowstone.
Yellowstone's a huge hit. I feel a little cheesy watching it because it's basically a soap opera.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I like his movies better, but Hell or High Water is like a fucking masterpiece. I think it was nominated for Best Pick. Should have been.
Or at least Best Screenplay.
Loved it.
But yeah, Sheridan's he's a killer. I got a wreck if we're going right down the barrel here. We should probably explain this border wall.
I saw a guy on Instagram. We should credit this guy because I have no idea.
We should credit him
because I saw him. He's like a whiskey. He's like a cocktail guy and
alcoholic.
Alcoholic
is the term.
He's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So I saw him do the Cinnamon Toast Crunch old fashioned. I was like, that looks kind of good.
Oh yeah.
So we start, me, Peters, Norman were on the text thread. I was like, what if we did some other cereals?
Yes.
And then Look at this guy. He gets Reese's peanut butter puffs.
Yeah.
This was not allowed in my house growing up.
Oh yeah, that's crack cocaine right there. That's fentanyl.
I wanted Cracklin' Oat Bran old fashions.
Oh yeah.
But they discontinued it. That's my favorite cereal.
Very regional. Never heard of that in my house. I never heard of cracklin' oat.
But we got the cinnamon. What are you most pumped to try of these three? I'm least pumped for the Cocoa Puffs one.
Yeah.
It's just because I feel like it's just going to be chocolate.
It's chocolate. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is a can't miss, but I'm a peanut butter fanatic.
So why don't you start off the peanut butter and I'll start off the Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Well, we should also describe, would we leave this soaking overnight with cereal in it? Yep. Okay.
So this is just fucking pure sugar.
It's whiskey and sugar.
By the way, you should all be following us on punchup.live/Sam Morrell and punchup.live/Mark Norman.
Yes.
It's just uncensored shit that we won't post on Instagram or they'll bury on Instagram
yes.
and YouTube. And we post tour dates. It's a cool new thing. This guy Danny Frankel is helping us get going on it. It's great. So follow us on that shit. Yeah, look who's on it. Rick Glassman, Tim Dillon, all these people. Norman, Adam Ray, Jordan Jensen. A lot of funny people.
He has good taste.
All right, there we go. You get the point.
All right. Did you have to look like a urine sample? Did you have to get the stool sample sperm bank?
This smells. I mean, I guess it's just whiskey and peanut butter, right? So it smells potent as hell. Do you want to do the honors with this one? I'll do the honors.
Yeah, you go. Break the hymen. Get in there. Oh boy, describe everything. What are your senses
getting
feeling?
Notes of peanut butter.
Ooh, that's exciting. Okay, Sam's going down the gullet. All right.
Fuck, that's pretty damn good.
Oh, come on.
Holy shit. That is a problem.
Mama. Come on. Quit bogarting it.
I think we need a peanut butter Bodega Cat blend.
Oh, don't tease me, fatty. Woo!
That is crazy.
How close are we getting into New York City, the Bodega Cat?
I mean, it might be out now because we are pre-recording this. What do you think?
Almighty, that's good. It's too much. It's too much for the senses. It's like a speedball.
Yeah, it's the thing I don't think I could really drink.
Yeah.
But damn, do I appreciate it.
You can taste it's when the milk takes over the cereal at the end and the milk is colorful and all that. That's what it tastes like with a kick of whiskey.
Let's see what we got here.
Ooh,
I'm gonna start off the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Swirl it.
That's heavy duty. See, the problem is the sugar makes you want to chug it.
Oh my god. Yeah, the smell is really fucking overwhelming. I'm getting notes of this one. I'm getting notes of cinnamon. Notes of toast. Some notes of crunch.
All right, I'm going in on the chocolate.
This is crack. This is too
really more than the other one.
This is way too. You know how this would be good if you watered it down, because it's too sugary.
Yeah, I agree. The ice would cut it.
The ice would cut it, but also I think like the way you put a little water in whiskey sometimes, or in like a scotch and water.
That's no good.
No good.
That's the bomb.
I had doubts about Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
I was never a Cocoa Puffs guy. It was a one note cereal.
It's one note. I like a chocolate cereal, but yeah.
Cocoa Krispies were better though.
I gotta fight you on that one.
Really?
Too soggy.
Soggy.
Yeah, these held their shape for a little longer.
Well, I do like older women.
By the way, it's good to be back on Taste Buds.
I don't hate it. It's all right. I think you lowered my expectations.
Okay,
so it's okay.
You know what might be nice is Fruity Pebbles, something other than the chocolatey,
Hey,
cinnamony.
I wonder if the fruity. Yeah, maybe it would work. Fruity Pebbles are crack. Yeah, that shit's good.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Captain Crunch knew what he was doing.
This would be a great. That would be good.
Yes,
Crunch
yes.
berries.
Oh yeah.
This would be a hilarious way to get like one of our sober friends back on booze. I fell back off, man. It was a peanut butter puff old fashioned.
Yeah. Kids, don't do this at home, by the way. Wow, this one might be the winner. The
Which
cinnamon.
It's just too sweet. I think if we throw a little water in there, we got a fucking good cocktail.
Oh yeah! Wow, thank you, Matt. I mean, I can't imagine your wife's gonna leave you because you're a 7-year-old alcoholic. You're mixing breakfast foods and booze at night with a.
We're gonna call this a Drew Barrymore. What, a Corey Feldman on the rocks?
Hey, I like that. Pretty good. Oh yeah. Woo! That is good stuff.
So is this our guy here?
That's him.
That's him.
Let's get the name out there for credit.
Tim the Tank Official.
I feel like he does a lot of cool shit on here.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of cool mixology
Cinnamon
stuff.
Toast Crunch Old Fashioned.
This is where we. This
Yeah, to
is
make
where I
it.
saw.
Fill up a jar with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Wow.
Fill the rest of our jar up with bourbon.
why the
Have you ever
terrorists
just
hate us.
had an idea that you started acting on, and mid through that idea while you were doing it, you realized to yourself, holy crap, this is a better idea than I thought? This is that idea right now. Put
you
this
get
in the
him
fridge
on?
and let it sit overnight. The wait is finally over, so let's go ahead and strain this into a bottle. There's
Yeah,
a
that's how we
few
did
things
it.
we can all
How Matt
agree
did
on.
it.
One of those is
What a
that
natural.
soggy cereal is gross. Finally, we're going to
Agreed.
add in 4 ounces of our Cinnamon Toast Crunch bourbon.
He added
into
more
a
sugar
glass.
here, I think.
You can always
No
use
way.
a rye as
I
well.
think he
Those
does,
work
right?
just as good with old fashions. A little
You know
bit
what we
of
should've
cinnamon
done?
sugar, 3 to 4 dashes.
He added more sugar.
What a psycho.
This is already fucking
Stir this
crack.
till the
Yeah.
cinnamon sugar
Might as well
dissolves.
put
Drop in
fentanyl.
our ice mold.
What we should have
garnish
done
with
is
some cinnamon
sprinkled a
toast
little in
crunch.
there on top. A little, because that's what he did.
Yeah,
It's all right. It's all right.
good.
We'll be back.
you did good work, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Really?
Man, dude.
I might take one home.
Oh, we should do a check-in on Winnie because I hear she might be back next week.
Yeah, big
We
win.
do a California check-in. Yeah, she's out. She's out. She's out west getting her son. She's popped off since she started doing We Might Be Drunk. She's out west doing some auditions.
I mean, she's in her element there. That's her natural habitat. Is that L.A. sun?
Just looks miserable.
He looks like Walter Matthau. All right, so my rec. You gotta see the Steve Martin doc.
Oh, you told me last
I
night.
can't talk good about it enough. It's so well done.
And you read the book, right?
I read the book. It's basically the book come to life. So you
Okay.
get to see footage. You get to see him bombing. You get to see him with a beard in the 60s, the early 70s. It's fucking fascinating. You thought we struggled.
Yeah.
This guy went through hell.
I can assume that just from reading that book, I assumed he went through shit. And,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's so fucking funny. Like, I feel like
So
young
funny.
people may not know, but like The Jerk,
Oh, my God. Incredible.
fucking hilarious.
And I say, you watch, you feel like a fraud because we do comedy. He changed comedy.
Right.
He changed the whole thing. And it obviously was such a uphill battle to do what he did because he's, you see a guy with an arrow through the head, you're like, oh, this guy's a hack. So you immediately hate him. But he made it. It was so bad. He made it good. It's really brilliant what he got
He
accomplished.
knew the rules to break the rules.
Yes.
I think a lot of people forget that. They think they could just break the rules. But like, if you know what you're doing and you can write a killer joke, you can do the other weird shit too.
Totally. But they show all the learning that,
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, he was just bad.
Yeah.
He's bad with an
Yeah.
arrow in his head.
Did you see it yet, Sam?
I haven't. I'm gonna see it. What's it on? Apple.
It's on Apple. Yeah, he has a great moment. Oh, sorry, Mark.
I cried. That's all. That's the last thing I'll say. And I'm not a crier. John Cryer. Go. Sorry.
He was just saying how he sort of figured out halfway through doing this. He was like, "Oh, I'm deconstructing comedy."
Yeah.
Didn't even realize it. And then he was like, "This character I'm doing is sort of making fun of
Show business.
show business itself
Richard
while I'm
Pryor.
trying to be in show business." It's very, very intellectual stuff.
Yeah, and they get into the process of writing the jokes, which is kind of rare and cool. And you pointed out there's no talking heads. It's just Steve Martin, and you hear from other people, but he's in a conversation. Oh, hey, there's a talking head right there.
Wait a minute, that's part 2. I didn't see part 2 yet.
All right.
Oh, it's a series.
It's him back
two
in the
parts.
day, and then him now. But him now is heavy and great. Seeing him as an old man.
He's so serious sometimes.
Oh my
right?
God, he's a big nerd. He's very serious.
I love him with Martin Short.
Oh, they go through all that. So you got to see it.
They're like made to do shit together.
Yeah.
I love watching their Hulu show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The ball busting they do is unbelievable.
It's fun.
It's funny. You're
That's
like,
how you
wow.
do it. That's how you do it. It's
Yeah.
just silly and
Yeah, they're just two comedy icons going at it. It's great.
Three Amigos. I realize is kind of Tropic Thunder before Tropic Thunder.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Good eye. Good call.
That's a fun movie. I love both of them. I'm just saying.
I've seen that movie 9 million times. I have it on VHS. Three Amigos.
Old school.
Yeah, so very old one. So like the wind.
I just started. Shout out Gary Veter. He got me the Caddyshack book. I just started this Caddyshack book. It's the making of Caddyshack, and it's like they were such fucking degenerates.
Oh, the cocaine, the booze, the whores, everything.
Yeah, but
It's a better time.
Speaking of Caddyshack.
How did you have that ready?
he sent me this already.
Oh, that's fun.
I love it.
I'ma kill all you rappers, I'ma aim with precision. They was rocking with your till they made it.
All I see from this is that Rodney works in every generation.
You got that right. Remember the first time you heard Rodney's story about Caddyshack where they would go, all right, and action, and he would do his lines, and
no one laughed.
He goes, Chevy, I'm bombing out here, and he's like, it's a movie. we can't just laugh at you. But the first time I heard that as a comedian, I was like, oh my God, I'm not alone.
I love that he's in Singing in the Rain too.
Oh yeah,
dude. I mean, just a fucking icon. I love just hearing these stories too about how they all thought it was going to be a bomb, Caddyshack.
Oh yeah,
it's like, you know.
Another relatable moment. What's the guy who made it? Doug Kenny?
Yeah.
Doug something?
And Bill Murray's brother co-wrote it, right?
Yeah.
And who else? And Harold
Ryan
Ramis.
Doyle and Harold Ramis. Yeah, those were like the comedy icon, not the gods of like behind the scenes
the
comedy.
Harvard,
National Lampoon.
Yeah.
They did all that shit. So they changed the comedy game, and then the guy who saw it or who made it, what's his name? Doug?
Yes.
This
Douglas
is
Kenny.
Nerd comedy shit. He saw Airplane. He's like, I'm the funniest guy in the world. I make the best comedy. No one could touch me. Then he went and saw Airplane. He goes, I suck. This is the best comedy. And then he killed himself.
Yeah.
Not to give it away.
Yeah. So don't see Airplane.
Yeah.
I want to get into comedy. No, I actually just rewatched Naked Gun.
Oh.
Man, there's some great fucking moments.
Gold.
Pull up that scene where he's doing the interrogation. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
I love that.
This
scene.
is fucking comedy gold.
That's vaudeville shit. That's going back to Abbott and Costello and all that stuff.
Man, Leslie Nielsen just knows how to fucking deliver a joke, too.
Well, he's the most serious actor and the most not serious.
It's the second one.
Oh, it's not this?
Maybe this.
I think this is it on the
This is
pier.
it, but the other one was a shorter version.
Oh, chalk outline in the water. I mean, that's a great sight gag.
Here it is.
This is great.
Familiar with that face?
I don't know. My memory ain't so great.
Oh, yeah. Maybe this will refresh your memory.
No, it's still kind of hazy.
How about this?
Yeah, I remember him. I used to see him around. Why do you want to know?
I can't tell you that.
Well, maybe this will.
Ah.
Yeah, you still don't think so?
All right, his name is Northford.
I'm telling you, he was dirty.
I'll run you right now.
All right. You worked at Ludwig Shipping. Trying to push something on one of my boys, I swear. So what are you going to do about it, copper?
Why should I tell you?
Maybe this will come.
Still don't think I should tell you.
Stop being funny. How about now?
All right.
You know that was like a tag at the last moment.
Yes.
We should have him do it again.
Exactly.
We should ask for money, yeah.
Got to keep heightening it. It's so good. It breaks the whole trope.
It's so dumb that it becomes smart.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Deconstructing comedy, just like Martin.
Yeah. So you have to know comedy so well to be able to reverse it.
I love it.
It's actually pretty impressive.
I remember one time at the cellar, I think Tracy Morgan was like, it's all about comedy. It's not about being funny. It's about comedy. And then I saw him at that MSG show, and he's like, it's not about comedy. It's about being funny. And both times I'm just nodding like, yes.
Yeah, right. What's that Norm quote from Rodney? Yeah. He's like, stand up. It's all about stand up, man. It's all about stand up. Movies, they're shit. TV, it's shit. Stand up, it's all shit. I'm butchering it, but
no, I know where you're going.
Something like that.
He acts like this is stand up is the only like holy thing left.
Yes,
and then even then he turns on stand up.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I love about
it. That inspired you. How long is it? You got to find the because this could be too long. But yeah, you find it, you figure it out. Oh, it's captioned, perfect.
Yeah, man.
This is there more of a comedy pod than this? I mean,
we love it, man.
We've touched on Naked Gun, Zuckerbrucker, Caddyshack, Doug Kinney, Steve Martin, Rodney, Norm.
I got it here.
All right.
Joke after joke after joke.
There's very few that I like, but I love Rodney Dangerfield as my favorite.
And he was the guy who would find
Favorite.
jokes,
Yeah,
but he was
the
great.
jokes have to be so fucking good.
Did he write his own jokes?
Yeah, he wrote them out.
I know guys who went into meetings with him about a movie.
Yeah.
He'd show up late in a bathrobe with his balls hanging out.
Yeah.
My dad did that.
Talk about not giving a fuck. You worship that. You want to be that guy who doesn't give a fuck, right?
I met Rodney, man, when I was...
He doesn't even answer him.
The worst mistake ever. Which I was in the fucking hotel, and I loved Rodney and shit, I didn't know him. And I was coming down
in the casino. I was coming down the fucking elevator.
It's like a 9-year-old.
Fucking.
So anyways, I worked on some stupid fucking thing with this director. He said he worked with Rodney. So I used
Director.
Thing, right? I go, we have a common friend. He goes, who's that? I go, Paul Johnson. He goes, that cucks. That fucker's no friend. And it's a whole elevator. That fucker's no friend of mine. You tell him he can suck my dick. I'm like, oh, I'm not his friend. I'm not his friend.
I don't remember that part. That wasn't even it.
That's another great one.
Great.
I'm thinking about bad business. Speaking of me and Mark, dude, I mean, we're trying to get Bodega Cat off the ground. We are so incompetent.
Oh, this
we have to
is
set
great.
up an LLC. I just drown in emails, so I just get anxious and I just stop opening them.
Yep.
It just makes me crazy. Is that how you are?
Yeah, we're one and the same.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't look at another one.
I see an email. I think it's the same thing over and over again for some reason. I see an email. It's been responded to, I noticed, like 14 times. I'm like, oh shit, this is about us setting up an LLC for Bodega Cat.
Yeah,
we got to
which we've been trying to do for 2 years.
And we're just idiots. So I see Mark's responded like 8 times, and I haven't responded. Mark's like, oh, yeah, I'll be at the bank. It's at this bank. Sure, I'll be there.
We picked the bank by your house.
We picked the bank by my place. You're close to you, too.
Yeah.
But we're like, we picked this bank, and they're like, Mark's like, I'm in, I'll be there. And then she goes, you guys didn't show up today. And Mark's like, fuck. And then,
totally
and then
forgot.
that's where I pick up, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm sorry. So then,
I'm glad you missed it, too. I would have felt horrible if you were there.
This is how we do business. We're both like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
8 people setting up a meeting, and then we both just are like, shit. I don't know.
Meanwhile, our biggest priority is Reese's Pieces whiskey. We're like, hang on, Matt. You got to get 3 boxes. We got to try them all before the guest comes.
We're fucking incompetent business people. We don't know what we're doing. So, but also the emails, the way they just bottle up.
I know.
I'm too tired. I quit.
Yeah, that's a peeve. You try to, it's like you have 6 unread emails, but it's all one email, but it's just the different.
Shit. I know.
And you have to, if you don't look at each one, they don't count as read.
It unloads.
Drives me crazy.
It unloads in a way where you're like, holy shit. It's like, it's like the magician, but just keeps taking the thing out, and you're
the
like,
scarves.
Never ends.
I know. You're just scrolling. Like, where's the latest one? And they keep getting smaller, they go to the right. That's the whole thing.
I got a peeve. This is about our buddy Gary Veter.
Oh.
The friend. I love you, Gary, but it's a peeve. You have that friend who, like, whenever it's convenient, they're like, I live in Jersey, but without traffic, 20 minutes away.
Oh, that's the biggest
Guess
one.
what? There's always traffic.
Yep.
And then guess what? When you need something from them, they're like, I'm in Jersey. I'm an hour and a half away.
Oh, great point.
I thought you were 20 minutes away without
Great
traffic.
point. Yes. It's that whole thing, like that Seinfeld episode where she's like,
Is that Winnie in traffic? You're just pulling her up.
20 minutes, where they go, hey, they got the ski equipment, and she's like, here you go. And she's like, I'm 3 blocks from my house. And the girl's like, the other lady's like, yay, 3 blocks, easy walk. And she's like, yeah, but you could just drive me. And she's like, but it's 3 blocks. And the other girl goes, yeah, it's 3 blocks. And now they're fighting over 3 blocks. But it's a great point because it's like, yeah, it's 3 blocks, just walk. Yeah, but it's 3 blocks, so just drive. So they just
Whose side are you on?
I'm on the drive side because she's like, well, if I go up 3 blocks, I got to turn 18 one ways and all that. But it's like, which one is it? Is it really 3 blocks? It's so easy, or is it not 3 blocks? It's so easy. So it's kind of a philosophical debate. But yeah, it's
There's
so
a lot
true.
of philosophical debates on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You know what I was just listening to is I was listening to Julia Louis-Dreyfus podcast, and
She has a podcast?
she's a pod, and I only listened to the first 10 minutes because someone sent it to me, like, you should hear this because it's about making a show, and she talks about how progressive Seinfeld was for its time because she talks about the contest episode.
Yeah.
And she was like, man, I felt so lucky to be on that show because, they do this masturbation bet. I know, but like every other, like, first off, it was edgy to get that on NBC.
100%.
They never say the word masturbation, but they get it on TV. Where it takes a leap is like, she goes, okay, any other sitcom of its time would have made the bet about Elaine. It would have been like, she walks in wearing something slutty, and all the guys are like, you think we cannot jack off? But Seinfeld, she's like, Seinfeld's so ahead of its time that they included Elaine in the bait. In the
bait.
bet. Masturbate and bet. I combined the two.
Right.
They include her in the bet, and now they give her odds, right?
Yes,
She's
yeah,
a woman.
of course.
But it's like,
That great Kramer delivery. She's like, well, I do it too. And he goes, not every day. Milkshake in his throat. So good.
No, it was. She's cool. I love her.
Oh, I'm a huge. Put her on the dream guest list.
Well, that's
I
the
would
dead
love
wall.
No, sorry, wrong wall. Put her on the dream guest list.
He's also dead. Polly Walnuts.
There you go. All right.
By the way, she's making a bid for greatest comedy actor of all time. If you think about all of her shows,
completely-
fucking
I
SNL.
don't think there's. If we're talking like, is there an argument? 3 shows she won an Emmy.
Yeah.
By the way, that episode won an Emmy. The contest won an Emmy. But yeah, Veep is incredible. She's amazing in Veep. She's a
Veep
power.
is
She was on
so
SNL.
good.
The
as
New
well.
Stories of Old Christine she won Emmys for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. She's a powerhouse.
Veep is fucking incredible.
It's a joke a minute.
Yeah,
It's so good, and it was doing political before political was like all the rage.
get political in a very, like we're all full of shit type of way.
Yes.
That's the right way to do political.
That's a good
comedy.
angle. No side pick. Just that's all
We're
bullshit.
all out for ourselves. We're all trying to fuck there's something really funny about everyone trying to fuck everyone over at all times.
Oh, 100%.
Even within her own camp, they're trying to fuck each other over.
Yeah, which is kind of realistic. That's kind of how everybody's working.
Oh yeah, because everyone's terrified.
Yes,
Everyone's terrified to lose their job.
exactly. Speaking of political, we got a fun guest. What was that?
Not bad to look at either.
And a very
Very pretty.
underrated hot lady.
Yeah.
But she's an underrated hot lady because she didn't ever lead with it.
Right.
Because she was so much more than that. I mean, she's so funny.
Led with the talent. I mean, she did have a giant wall of hair in the 90s for some reason.
I don't know whose idea. It's so funny. We watched that and we're like, that was not.
That wasn't good for
idea.
anybody. I guess Jerry had the same hair. He had that big
The
floof.
poof.
Yeah, the big curly poof.
Did you pull up the Portland Seinfeld pictures? If it was done in Portland.
Oh, I've never seen that. Look at that wall. I mean, it's a beehive of hair.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's not the best. I mean, she's got such a pretty face.
I know.
What? I was on Colbert with her. I didn't get
What?
to meet her. Yeah, I wish I got to meet her. I never.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to bother another guest.
I would put Tina Fey in the underrated hot as well.
For sure.
She's a pretty lady.
Same thing as Julia Louis-Dreyfus. We just think of her as funny.
Yeah.
30 Rock is so fucking good.
So good. Also, Julie Louis, rich kid, still talented. So it kind of
Yeah.
puts that whole thing to bed. You got to be from the streets and depressed and all that shit. I guess you can still be depressed if you're rich, but you know what I mean. What are you pulling up?
He said the Portland Seinfeld
Oh,
character.
there's like
What is that?
Gen Z Seinfeld.
Oh, Gen Z.
It's really funny. They all have like necklaces on and
And George has like arm tattoos.
yeah.
Do you have it?
That's not.
Hey, that's something.
That's not it.
That's not it, but that's something. You're getting there.
Okay, then I can't click on this because it's going to
Did you
say
see
who I am.
Seinfeld introducing Billy Joel's 100th show at the Garden?
What'd he say?
It's pretty great. He just like praises him, how great he is. He's like, I'm from Long Island. You're from Long Island. Your music makes us feel like we're all friends with each other. And thanks for selling me that house. It was a great.
Really?
He bought Billy Joel's house in Long Island in the Hamptons. So
Yeah,
it's fun.
we're all in this together, but we're not. We're both much richer than all of you.
yeah.
I
that
bought his
too.
house. No, you can't find it. Damn it, Syracuse. Any other peeves?
I got some peeves.
I got another too. Yo, hit me.
I wrote 2 down today, so let me pull that up.
By the way, I apologize if I repeated jokes in the last one. I realized I was looking at jokes from an old email. You ever just type in jokes in your Gmail and it just an older one pops up for some reason?
Of course, yeah.
I hate that shit.
That's the word.
That's a peeve. Oh, look at
Oh, he looks like Veter. Wow.
this. They look Dominican here.
I know, right? They went more ethnic.
This isn't
Oh,
it. This
look
isn't
at
the one
that.
I was thinking of, but this is funny.
That works. Oh, jeez. He looks grizzled. Oh, she looks kind of hot. Oh, that's Elaine. What?
That's Marissa Tomei.
Is it?
I think
It
so.
looks-
I don't know. I think
No,
they're
I think
all
I think it was
before.
Elaine,
Oh, the leather
the
jacket.
legend.
Jerry
What do you
Still.
got?
The face shouldn't change, but
What
whatever.
the peeve?
Oh, I thought I wrote 2 down. I wrote one. How about this guy? This is getting away with murder. This is my peeve. The guy who goes, "You're wrecked." It doesn't have to be your act. It could be anything. Those pants, that haircut. I don't want to say it's ugly. That's not the right word. And I'm like, you just got away with calling me ugly. You go, I don't want to say those pants are too tight, but that's not the word.
I don't want to say your mother's a two-timing whore, but
somewhere in that.
well, guess what? I'm
ballpark-
not repeating that part to my mother.
Yeah, exactly. You get away with murder by saying, I don't want to say this word, even though you just literally just said that word, and now that word's in my head. Even if you didn't want to say it, you just said it.
Cum guzzling cocksucker is not the word.
Yeah, that's not
Well,
it.
give me another. Give me a synonym for that.
Gay? Right? So I hate the, I don't want to say, insert word here. I don't mean that. But you just said it. As though it's in my head either
why
way.
don't you form your thoughts and then come back to me when you can put a sentence together?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm with you. That I don't want to say. You're right. You're saying it.
You're saying it.
It's been said.
And you're getting away with saying it by saying I don't want to say. Yeah.
Oh, I was working. By the way, I got something out of on new jokes. I got 2 that may be something. I was working on that one about. We were riffing the other day about knowing, how knowing sucks.
Yes.
Knowing is bad because, you eat a tuna melt, right? You feel great. Then you see the calories, you're like, fuck. It ruins it. I know. It's like you ever date someone early on and you're like, this is amazing. Then you get to know them. Not as good.
Oh.
Something there. I'll play with that.
Yes.
I had something else, too, about...
Wait, what was the thing we couldn't remember that he gave you the clip on?
Oh, it was just about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was racking my brain. I couldn't think of it.
I got other bits, but I have a peeve, too.
Hit me with a peeve.
You ever have a friend hit you up? They're from out of town. They go, let's hang out. I'm in town. I leave tomorrow.
Now you got a deadline.
So I got 90 minutes notice.
Yeah.
Or I'm a bad friend.
This is like,
You're the bad friend. Give me notice.
Notice. It's like an action movie.
So here's what I
hang out with Bill. Sorry.
It's a ransom.
Yeah.
No, this is what I did. It's a good move. I said, I'm going to the cellar. You're welcome to meet me.
Ooh, that is
and
good.
now the ball's in his court, and he didn't come. So he's the bad friend.
So not only do you have to meet him with a shot clock, you got to go where he wants to go.
Exactly.
That's no bueno.
Related is, hey, we're both going to be in Portland. Let's hang out.
That's
like, we don't hang out in New York. Why would we hang out in Portland?
That's a good
Isn't that a
point.
tough one?
That's
Yeah.
a good point. Yeah.
On the West Coast, we're friends all of a sudden?
I had this exact thing happen to me. I'm scared to say because he might hear it. I don't want to be mean.
Who cares?
I don't want to be mean to the guy.
Yeah,
but...
same here.
All right. Well,
No, just say it.
this guy. I don't want to say this guy sucks. No. But this guy is in a band at one of the comedy clubs. He plays in the band. Never had a conversation with this guy. I don't know the guy's name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He calls or he texts me, goes, I got your number from so-and-so. I'm in Little Rock. Let's hang out. And I'm like, now I pull this one. I go, how many tickets you need? I got you, baby.
That's smart.
Get him in the show. Got him free tickets. Bring a friend. I'm off the hook. And he goes, great, I need 2. It means the world to me. I go, oh, you got it. Then he goes, what are you doing after? And I do the whole bullshit of like, well, you got to settle up, and I got to sign some autographs. I got to do some promo shoots and whatever, collect my merch.
A lot of autographs in Little Rock.
Yeah.
It's a big line.
Oh, my Clinton. So I do the meet and greet after. You're meeting some people. Yeah. This guy he's texting me the whole time. Where are you? Let's hang out. Where you at? They won't let me back in. They kicked me out. They tased me. Like everything's getting crazier and crazier.
I've been kidnapped.
Yeah. Finally, the door kicks open. It's this guy with like 3 security guards like, sir, you can't go in there. And I'm like, oh, he's all right. He's cool. So he barged his way in. Now we have to hang out. And I'm with all the fans and everything or pod people. And it was awkward.
Damn.
So this guy was not taking no for an answer. I think when you live in Little Rock and anybody you've ever seen before is there, you gotta show up.
He friendship raped you.
Yes!
It's a friendship rape.
That's good.
He wouldn't take no for an answer.
You're right.
But you gave him, gave him a little bit of hope.
What was I wearing?
What were you wearing? You invited him to the show.
I know. I let him on a little.
If I'm a cop and there's a friendship rape,
you
did invite him in.
You're right. Now, can I get a friendship abortion? in the world of friendship rape.
Not in Arkansas.
Or Texas. Can't you get aborted in Arkansas?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I'm not sure, though.
All right.
It feels like you shouldn't be able to.
Right.
Well, then I got to make a phone call.
Yeah. So does Bill Clinton.
Yeah. I went on stage. I said, Bill Clinton. They went, woo. And I went, he's the white P. Diddy. And they went, boo. We had a good time. They love Bill Clinton. The airport's named after him, and the library is named after Bill Clinton.
The airport's named after him, but he flies in on a different plane.
Damn, I should have said that. That's good. You know who died in Little Rock, or died in Arkansas? Bill Hicks.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a road comic. Died in Arkansas.
Bill Hicks
Wait,
was
at a hospital, he was touring and he died?
He had cancer.
But I mean, he was touring up until he died?
He toured pretty late, but I don't know.
I think he stopped at the end. There was a part in one of the books where he had to get helped off stage because he was so weak. I mean, you have fucking cancer.
Yep. There he is.
Same cancer that killed Steve Jobs.
Lung?
Pancreas.
Oh, I thought it was lung.
Pancreas.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
I'll look it up, but pancreas doesn't really do anything, right? Pancreas
It gets cancer.
You're thinking of the spleen.
No, there's like something. Oh, appendix maybe? What's
Appendix.
Pancreas do?
Appendix
What does pancreas
is.
do?
You can take that out. Which is weird that we have body parts you can take out.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange? Never thought about that. Why do I have it if it doesn't serve a purpose?
They theorize that it's a leftover stomach.
Whoa.
Like that we probably once had two to process different foods, and then we're like, we don't do that anymore.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You got any other peeves?
I had one and now I forgot
Let me
it.
see what I have.
Maybe it'll come back to me. I thought I wrote down 2. Fuck. I got nothing.
I got some joke ideas. I'm not fucking. Man, do you see this actor Michael Stuhlbarg got
Yeah.
a rock thrown at him by a crazy person in
No.
Central Park?
What? Never heard of this guy.
Oh, you know this actor. He's in A Serious Man. You've seen him in a ton of stuff. He's the lead in the Coen Brothers movie, A Serious Man.
Wait, is that
He
the
looks
Jewish
like-
one?
yeah.
Yes, that's a great movie.
Yeah, you've seen this dude. Pull him up. Pull up his.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's really good.
What happened? Just somebody didn't like the look?
I mean, there's crazy people.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
New
so.
York. It's still New York.
And
But it wasn't like a targeted.
it was
I
a
hate-
homeless. No, it was a homeless
Oh,
guy.
okay,
Just chucked
wow.
a rock in the back of his head.
Is he okay?
He's fine, but it's like the second instance of a Broadway actor being just randomly attacked by a crazy homeless this week.
Whoa.
And this guy had like 17 priors for similar shit.
Well, you
Stolbar.
know the rule. If you assault someone without a gun, you get out. Bail reform.
Well, we can talk to our guest about this.
Yes.
But also, I saw one of the. I'll read the comments on these sometimes because there's the New York Post comments are so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Someone wrote, "So what? Actors shouldn't receive preferential treatment. Like getting hit by rocks. That's
hilarious.
preferential. I don't think anyone should get hit by a rock.
That's a bit.
Yeah, maybe there's a bit there.
That's
I'll
funny.
play with it.
Yes.
I'll tell you.
Play with it.
You're right.
I should warn the guests, or I should warn the listeners. Our guest is Mayor Adams. He's coming. We got a bone to pick. Wow, poor guy. Well, we hope you pulled through, Mike. There he is. That was a good movie.
This is one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Serious Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They rarely
They don't miss.
miss. They're pretty great.
That Clooney one was tough.
Which one?
Intolerable Cruelty.
They just wrote that, but that was pretty fun. I thought that was like a throwback Cary Grant type comedy.
That's
that was,
true.
I thought it was
It
kind
was-
of
it was
fun.
Did they do
whimsical.
Hail Caesar?
I didn't love that.
I didn't like that either.
but
It
I
had
love
moments. But yeah.
I thought Intolerable Cruelty had moments for sure. And Richard Jenkins, good cast.
Yeah, you gotta love Jenkins. Always good.
Billy Bob, Catherine Zeta was so freaking hot in that movie.
Billy Bob from Little Rock.
Yeah,
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
man, he's been in some. I mean, I feel like the way we talk about Paper Plane on this pod was the way people were tagging me in A Simple Plan.
Oh, yeah.
People
yeah.
love that movie. That's a great
movie,
fucking movie.
yeah.
And the other one he did, I don't know if I talked about it in the pod, One False Move. It's
I've never
it's
seen it.
also Billy Bob and Bill Paxton. It's another
I don't know.
it's
that.
another 90s noir. It's fucking great.
All right, yeah. Even the wife, who's bored out of her mind on any good movie, loved A Simple Plan.
So good.
If I put Godfather on, she's out. She'll divorce me.
Godfather's a slower burn.
It is, but it's a classic.
It's one of the best things ever made. But
Yeah.
It's a 3.5 hour flick.
Well, that TikTok is just so alluring. It's like everything this movie isn't. This movie is slow, dark, moody. TikTok is quick, fun, and it lights up your brain in a way that.
different. It's like an instant dopamine rush.
There you go.
But then, you don't remember the TikToks. You remember a
Exactly.
great movie experience. You remember a great book. You remember that. You don't remember the top 30 burgers in downtown Manhattan.
Yeah, right.
You remember your favorite movies and you revisit them and you see different things. It's just, I have to catch myself in it sometimes.
Of
I was
course.
Like even last night, I was like I was thinking about throwing on a movie with subtitles because I was flipping on Criterion, and then I was like, I don't know if I have the attention span right now. I'm kind of tired. And I'm like, no, fuck me. Get it, do it. It'll enrich your life.
Good for you.
And I didn't do it. I watched Sicario. as I said.
Well, still a
But,
great film. And
it was a good. And then I watched it. and I was so into it. It's such a uneasy movie.
Yeah, tense.
Tense as hell, that I was like, I could have done this for another movie. But
Yeah, you're
you
right.
just got to give yourself to it.
You got to give. That's the hard part. These youngsters, they can't get over that little hump of boredom. Once you get over
Some
that
of them
hump,
can.
some of them can. But I shouldn't generalize. But I think the TikTok generation is so used to instant gratification that I think if you could teach a kid to get over that hump, you could really get somewhere. It's like Reese's versus stew. You get a nice hearty stew, that's Sicario. This is a fucking breakfast cereal pumped with chemicals and sugar.
So you're not going to see Jerry's new Pop-Tarts movie?
Not at all. No, I can't wait.
Let me pee real quick before I guess.
All right.
It's your burnout friend's favorite holiday, 420. Celebrate with our friends at Diet Smoke. Diet Smoke has sold over 10 million THC gummies across the U.S. for a reason. With strengths from 10 milligram to 200 per serving, Diet Smoke promises you'll find your new favorite THC gummy. I mean, this stuff, everyone's using this to fall asleep. My girlfriend uses this constantly. You're using it, right?
Big fan. It's the only way to sleep through the night for me. I love it.
Great. Diet Smoke gets that. Everybody's different with tons of strengths and doses. You'll be sure to find the perfect products for you. No prescription needed. Everything by Diet Smoke is 100% lab tested and federally legal. And it's delivered straight to your door. Now, here's the good part. Exclusively for We Might Be Drunk listeners, Diet Smoke has a special 420 offer. Go to dietsmoke.com. Use code 420DRUNK at checkout, and you'll not only get 25% off your entire order, but they're adding a free gift as well. That's 420DRUNK at dietsmoke.com for 25% off your entire order, plus a free gift. Could be a butt plug, could be something smoking related. You never know.
I'm smoking out of my butt. All right. Hey, folks, We Might Be Drunk is brought to you by Mando. Look at that, baby. If you ever forgotten to apply deodorant, you know how rank things can get. Mando's whole body deodorant is clinically proven to control your nasty odor for 72 hours. It works on pits, privates, feet, wherever you got a stench. It's powered by mandelic acid that actually stops odor before it starts, and Mando's cologne quality scents take over everything to the next level. Damn, that's good. Give that a good old whiff-a-roo.
I love it. Ooh, Mando.
Mando. Baking soda free, paraben free, and pH balance for safe use below the belt. Head into spring with a deodorant that can handle the heat. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick, cream tube, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Select use. You can use this when you jerk it. Use our discount code, and you'll be hooked up on our favorite-smelling whole-body deodorant that's on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That's over 40% off your starter pack. Wow, what a deal. Use code DRUNK at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. It's time to smell better naked. Your partner will thank you. Mando.
We're here with our guest,
Sorry, guys.
Andrew Yang. No,
We keep it
thanks for
loose.
coming through, yeah.
Hey, guys. I hear there's drinking on this podcast.
Yes.
You don't drink, though, right?
Maybe some cursing.
Yes.
A few
Whatever you
fucks
want.
given here and there.
Do you drink or no?
I don't really drink very much. I'm one of those people that if I drink, I go to sleep.
Aha.
It's probably a good thing in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, lucky you. It keeps me up all night and the blow. This might be why you lost. You're dressed like hell. Come on, man. I'm just kidding.
I could have gone either way.
All right. No.
I thought if I had like jacket on, I'd feel very out of place.
That's true. No, you did
No,
the
you
right
look
thing.
good. How would you be doing things differently? We were just talking about that. We're like, you could have won this. You could have been mayor of New York.
Yeah.
You could have been in charge of the shithole.
I do things exactly the same as Eric asked.
We were just talking about how a crazy guy threw a rock at the actor Michael Stolberg. You heard about that?
No, I haven't heard the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just happened.
It's getting ugly out
Thanks.
there.
Fix me up.
What do you think about? Because we travel, we see the road all the time. We see a lot of cities.
Yeah, totally.
Or a lot of people are on drugs. A lot of people don't feel safe. I mean, I feel fine in New York. I love New York, but that's the reputation, right?
Sure. Well, I will say, I mean, I've lived here for a long time, and the vibe is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even if nothing happens to you, you're like, I feel like something could have happened. Just
Yeah.
there. And then things do happen. Like, I've had friends have weird shit go down in a way that might not have been the case, let's call it 5 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there was a box cutter. Do you see that on the subway? A guy had a box cutter. He cut a lady. Then the National Guard was in the subway, I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sure. Aren't they still there? I mean, nothing's changed, right?
They're not at my stop. I could use them.
Yeah, maybe they rotate.
Yeah.
We use the same stop sometimes, and that stop is not.
Yeah,
it's dicey.
a lot of
Sixth
characters.
Avenue stop.
It's 2 floors of horrors. I mean,
Yeah.
it's West 4th, so it's...
Not
That's
good.
a big stop, yeah.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of the lines come through.
Sam, do you remember the 90s when you had to carry around muggers money?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like a fake wallet, you'd be like, here you go.
Yeah.
Quinn's got a great joke about that.
What does he say?
Well, they'd rob you. Colin Quinn has a bit where they rob you and they'd be like, I don't have any money. You go, but you got your mugger money. He's like, oh yeah, of course, here. You know, had to have your mugger money.
You're an upstate guy, right?
Well, I was born in Schenectady. My dad worked for GE and then moved to IBM, and it's very nerdy sounding, I know. Sorry, guys.
Let it out.
But I grew up in Schenectady and then Westchester County. So, New York product in terms of Z100 and, and the Knicks.
Knicks or Nets?
Else. So, okay, I was a hardcore Knicks fan until they dropped Jeremy Lin. And you can imagine the feelings you would have as the Asian American Knicks fan who Jeremy Lin was your shining light, and then you drop him over money. It seemed like the biggest bullshit in the world. Yeah, it's just the Rockets gave him a contract, and the Knicks said, "Okay, we're not going to match that."
They let him go. Yeah,
I mean, this is the franchise that gave Jerome James $30 million.
That's like 20 years ago. Come on, you're bringing up a lot of old stuff.
No, like the Knicks do not lose people because they get paid, but on this one, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna let this guy go," even though he was, the best part of being a Knicks fan for X years.
He was awesome. That was a magical 2 weeks, but
2 weeks, was that it?
It was. Linsanity went for 2 weeks. I loved it, but it wasn't like
it was a hot moment. I'll tell you that.
I wanted him as a Nick for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
get me wrong.
He was ours.
He's come to the cellar before. He's a great guy. He's very cool. It is kind of a flex to say when I ran for president.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Sounds good.
It does sound. I mean, how do you just say I'm going to run? Like, what's the process?
Well, believe it or not, anyone can run if they're 35 years or older and born in the U.S. Those are only 2 rules, and so there's absolutely nothing stopping the Norman moral ticket. Circa. It's a little late for 24, but 28.
Yeah.
Or you could reverse.
Everyone will be drunk.
Moral Norman. You could run on whatever platform you want.
Okay.
But those are the only rules, guys. Legit. Now, the 2-party system has kind of locked up the process, so it's a little bit trickier than all that. In my case, I ran as a Democrat and had to get polling at a certain level. I actually talk about this in my last book. Because I'm a serial... forward. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. And I just saw it as an entrepreneurship challenge. It was like, okay, how do you get on the ballot? How do you get on the debate stage? How do you raise the money to compete, et cetera, et cetera? And believe it or not, there are a lot of parallels between that process and what you guys do.
Come on.
I think there are 3 overlapping fields. And I try and explain this to people. Politics, comedy, professional wrestling.
Whoa!
Those 3 things intersect
Jesse Ventura.
in very, very serious ways.
Yeah.
So, Jesse Ventura, I mean, Trump was a fucking wrestling villain if you actually go back to it.
That's right.
Like kind of anti-hero hanging out with McMahon and the crew.
Yeah, old shit chest McMahon.
People talk about The Rock all the time running for president. I mean, it's in part because he can just go in and command a crowd. Guys, I was at a number of political events, and literally they would say 60 seconds, go, and you're essentially cutting a wrestling promo in front of a bunch of people. So my wrestling fandom really paid off.
Yeah.
Because I would channel DDP or The Rock or whoever the fuck in that moment. But when you're a comedian, it's very similar where you get in front of people.
Yep.
Now you guys are big time, so people who come to your shows actually know and like you. But a lot of the time you are in front of people who don't know who you are from Adam, and then you give a talk. You try and catalyze emotions in them. So in your case, it's humor. In my case, I actually did use humor sometimes. And then you literally
hope though too. You got to use hope.
Hope sometimes, sure.
Yeah.
And change.
And then you inspire them, and then you're literally like, hey, I'm Andrew Yang, I'm running for president, I'll be back. And then you come back and you hope the crowd's a little bigger. I'm sure that sounds pretty familiar to you.
You do
guys.
the road. You build your audience.
So I worked bars, bowling alleys, like you name it.
So did we.
In Iowa and New Hampshire.
What's the worst crowd you ever had?
I mean, I had some terrible crowds.
You're getting heckled a lot?
But you know what's fun, though, is most of the people in Iowa and New Hampshire, which are the main early states I campaigned, and I campaigned all over the place, but last cycle, it was Iowa and New Hampshire. They're very friendly. They're very generous and cordial. Like if you meet folks in these environments, and by the way, I also say to folks, it's like, who understands how most of America functions? Comedians, road comedians.
You got that right.
Because you guys go in front of crowds all over the country. They're not particularly. Yes, I mean it's one reason why Trump is as prominent as he is. He's essentially an insult comic, political figure, plus media figure, plus everything, like kind of plus pro wrestling villain, all lumped together, and he's become this movement leader essentially in a way that the system doesn't know what to do with.
He works out like his nicknames. He works them out. I see him working them out. Where he's like, he'll be like Fat Ron DeSantis, and he gets nothing. Then he's like Meatball Ron, and I get to laugh. He's like, that's in the act.
Yes. He workshops.
Yeah, he workshops it, and then when he finds something that clicks, he's like, okay.
Sleepy Joe was big for him. That was a big.
Crooked Hillary.
he also used Twitter/X as a focus group too. You would hit it and be like, ooh, that touches a nerve, and then we're just gonna use that again. He plays the media in a particular way. There's a lot of parallel. I say to folks too, I talk to comedians, I'm friends with different comedians, and I say, okay, which comedian would you nominate to run? And so who do you think they say?
Jon Stewart, probably.
Bill Cosby.
Get him out of jail. Is he in jail?
I think he's too old, or they pulled him out. He's touring.
I got to say, I did see a Bill Cosby. He was actually at a Jon Stewart benefit. It was like one of the Wounded Warrior projects. It was before we all knew he was, a sicko and everything. So he's there, and then he did an act, and it was the darkest act of all time.
Bill
Cosby.
I'm raping the woman.
And it was, and you were kind of waiting to laugh, but you're like, this is just dark and disturbing.
Whoa. Really? What kind of material are we talking?
I mean, shit. It's probably on tape somewhere. It's at like a Jon Stewart. Maybe it was Wounded Warrior or the Mission Continues.
You put the pill in the drink.
Yeah, so it was before that was he was frankly like we were sure. I think it was even before he was accused. It was like X years ago. And then. But it was a very, very, you guys know too, and this is one of the things I love about comedy is that when a comedian gets up there, and you can kind of sense sometimes when they're in a dark place.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure you guys even too.
100%.
It's like you're up there, you do your bit, but
but we do it every night. I mean, we do comedy every night, so you're not in a good mood every night.
Totally.
So, but then they're like, but be real on stage. Like, well, real. I'm gonna fake it a little bit because I want it to be a good show. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, remember those Ralphie May years? He was going through a divorce, and it was dark. Like you could see it coming out of him.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean.
You can see the darkness. Bill Cosby was emanating darkness at this time. I mean, he was probably on the cusp of being outed or accused. But you talk about the performative element when you guys.
That's going to be hard to do comedy with 63 women are about to come forward. Showtime.
Yeah.
So the performative aspect you just described, Sam, where it's like, hey, I'm in a shitty mood, but you're not here for my shitty mood. You're here for some laughs. So let's give it to you.
Yeah.
Same thing in politics. Like, I just got bad news or something's bad with my kids or whatever the heck, and then you're in front of a group of 50 early voters in New Hampshire, and they're not there for your personal shit. They're there for the uplift and inspiration. So then you just freaking put it on.
The best example of that is W. Bush. When the 9/11 happened, he kept reading the kids' book. He was like, oh, yeah, so the bunny hops twice or whatever.
Well, they need to know how it ended.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Second Tower. That's how it ended. But all right, sorry.
So you do have kind of this automaton streak going.
Automaton? I don't know that Transformer.
What's
automaton?
Or performative.
I see.
You just are like, okay, I've got the role I'm going to inhabit for this period, and then whatever goes on, you're like, I'm in it. It's one reason why people are mistrusting politicians, because we kind of sense that there's this performance layer affect that they have on all the time. It's like, okay, what's really going on underneath there?
It's ironic because if they didn't do it, they would lose. But you have to do it, and then you get called
Trump
a phony.
didn't do it, and he won. I feel like that's how Trump destroyed Jeb Bush. He was like, look at this guy, he's so scripted. And he just like leveled him, right? I mean, that was...
Yeah, but I think there's also a side of Trump where he's like, I'm doing this all for America and the common man. And you're like, you don't give a shit about the common man.
Right.
So I think there is a little bit of veneer, but he is definitely the most honest so far.
Yeah, he manages to give off this quote unquote authenticity, even as he's bullshitting.
Right.
Well, Fred Thompson used to do that, right? He would show up. He would take a limo to a pickup truck to take the pickup truck to his supporters.
Oh,
to show like he's
right?
a common man.
That's hilarious.
I mean, it's like the oldest trick in the book. Like Trump's obviously flying private. He's doing these arena gigs.
Yes.
Right.
And that was one of his innovations too. It's like instead of retail politicking in the early states, it's like, look, I'm just going to do the airplane hangar, land in my plane. I'm not going to sleep in your fucking state. I'm going to get back on my plane. I'm going to get back to my golden tower same night because that's the way I roll.
Jacksonville, Florida, one of the best cities. I'm leaving immediately, but I love this city.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's like my plane's right there, and I got off, and I'm going to get back on. I'm going to fly off while you guys wait.
Well, do you think not to get all Politico on you, but isn't it a little weird that back in the 60s and whatnot, it was super Democratic? John F. Kennedy's going to the West Virginia to talk to the coal miners, and they were all the blue collar were voting blue.
Well, I've heard you talk about this.
And then flipped.
I've heard you say,
now
like,
it's red.
The blue collar vote used to be the Democrat, right?
Sure, yeah.
Now it feels like it's all red out there in the auto workers and all that, the construction.
Oh, the unions are interesting because the unions all have endorsed the Democrats, but then their membership does not vote for the Democrats.
Oh, interesting.
The membership's like, hey, all right, endorse whoever you want. I'm going to vote for Trump. And you can see that up and down different industries. Like
That's interesting.
The rank and file are going to vote Trump.
Do endorsements do anything? I've heard people say like if Taylor Swift came out and endorsed Biden, it would swing things. But would it? Or would
help. I think it would help.
But I feel like people already know kind of where she stands on stuff. So what does that really do? Do you think that would be impactful?
It's interesting, man, because when I ran for president, I got various endorsements.
Who was your biggest one that you were like? Was it Chappelle?
I think Chappelle objectively.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
But I'll say this.
That must have felt pretty good.
One reason why I will always be grateful to Dave is that a lot of celebrities. So I get together with him, and he's like, universal basic income makes sense to me. It would help all the folks in Ohio where I live. I'm going to support you. And then a celebrity says that, and you're like, oh, well, thank you. I have no idea what that means. And then in Dave's case, what that means is I'm going to roll up to Iowa while you're campaigning in Iowa, shoot like rush hour themed videos with you, and then perform to a sold out stadium in Ames, and then donate all the money from that show to your campaign's like associated entity.
And then do 6 hours on stage, and he's like, wait, why was I here again?
Yeah, right.
So Dave like actually freaking rolled up his sleeves. He then went to South Carolina and then made calls to South Carolina voters on my behalf, like did another show, donated the money to the entity. So, I mean, he freaking grounded out in a way that would be stunning to anyone who, I mean, because most celebrities don't want to do anything that's going to like require lots of time and energy, but also they don't want to take like a risk in that way. And then Dave just said, look, like this guy's talking about things that would help the people around me. So I'm going to actually go to the early states. I mean, it was something I'll never forget.
Wow. He's like, I will give you money. I will support you. Just work on this trans bathroom law.
I don't remember that
just joking, Dave. Comedian to comedian.
Yeah, you guys are probably running the same circle.
Oh, yeah, we love 'em.
Comedian I know knows every other comedian. You guys are on the same places.
We know everybody.
Yeah.
It's good times that way. So is him... and
You're
around
probably
the same
that
time,
way with most politicians. I would assume you know most of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I am friendly with just about all of them. It's true. The ones you would expect. But I also got endorsed by Norm Macdonald around the same period.
What?
So I was like super grateful for that.
It's right there.
My hero.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. He couldn't drive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like a brilliant idiot. He can't drive. He lived with his mom. He lived in a studio apartment in L.A., but brilliant guy. But, gambling addiction.
What did he say to you?
Took a gamble on you.
Yeah, he took a gamble on me. He said, and he was great even after the campaign ended. He was like, Andrew, you're ahead of your time. People catch up. So he was.
Norm was ahead of his time.
Agreed.
Yeah, he was that. So the folks like that, it was really awesome because they were people that I admired from afar, and then getting to know some of them, and then having them get behind me. So where the fuck were you guys? No, I'm kidding.
I was on the gang train.
I was paying attention.
I was on there. I'm a fan.
Mark.
Our,
I voted for you.
what year did you run? 16?
20.
20. So
tough year.
we won. Yeah, it's a tough year, and we wouldn't have made a big dent. I don't think for you back then.
No, I was on board. I was all in right away.
Well, that's awesome that you guys have had this ascent over this last number of years.
Yeah,
so it's great.
As you said, it takes a while. You know, you do your thing, and you're on the road, and we always quote Bill Burr. He would call it, killing in obscurity.
Yes.
So we're hidden.
Right.
We're hidden in the middle of the country, and we're like, why does no one know who the fuck we are? And then but then you also have those nights where you're like, people should not know who we are.
Sure.
I'm glad no one was here to see this.
I had one of those last night. Mark followed me at the cellar. I'm doing all new.
I thought it was fun. You were so hard on yourself.
Well, you got to be hard on yourself to write new shit.
Oh, dude, the new shit too, because it was not going over well. You're like, fuck, let me just take out an old reliable.
I did that too.
Right?
You did that too.
Like this-
I did that on one joke. I got mad at the crowd, and I did it. I said, I bet you'll laugh at a dick joke, and I did an old dick
saw
joke,
that.
and it hit, and I was like, I knew it.
Yeah, and it's bittersweet because you're like, hey, that hit, but also, does that mean my old stuff's better than my new stuff?
Well, of course it is. I just burned a special.
and you're better at it too. Because
Yes. Exactly.
But no, the old
Exactly.
stuff, I just burned an hour, so you have to start, the process, you start fresh, a new hour, and it's like,
It's tough.
It's humbling, man.
Dude,
Grueling.
someone I just saw, I saw Michelle Wolf working out some material.
Sure.
And it was hysterical because it was going over terribly. She was like, I do not care.
But she has big
This is
ideas,
happening.
so she'll stick
Yes.
with it. I mean,
she's ambitious with her
Yeah.
material.
But for some reason, it was just really funny how little she cared, how well it was going
she's
over.
a badass.
well, I bet she
Yeah, it was
showed
very
she didn't
impressive.
care, but she's a real comic. So
I know,
she
she's
definitely
phenomenal.
cared off
She's killer.
off stage. I'm sure she was like,
Yes.
fuck.
No,
I don't care what you guys think.
She was working the material. I was actually at Dave's show
the
in
Ohio
in Yellow
place.
Springs. Yeah.
Nice.
You know that they named a house after her in Ohio.
Whoa.
I mean, like in jest, but kind of for real, because she got stuck there during COVID.
That's right.
So she
She got stuck at comedy sleepaway camp, and
she got stuck at Comedy Sleepaway Camp in Ohio for months during COVID.
we all got stuck somewhere.
Yeah, I'd rather be there than I was here. I mean, I live in a fucking shoebox, in New York.
I was in LA for a while, and that wasn't fun either. I mean, there was no good place to be doing that. Maybe Florida was fun, but then you
Texas.
got COVID. immediately.
Sure, but I got it here anyway.
Exactly.
So
That was a long.
Yeah, I went to that sleepaway camp during that time, and Michelle bought like a Vespa, like a European style Vespa. It was just freaking cruising around roads and cornfields.
See,
of
that's
Ohio.
living.
And it seemed awesome, honestly.
yeah.
And then I got on the Vespa, and I was like, hey, and I tried it, did it on. Everyone got so nervous. I was like, what the fuck? You think I'm going to wreck this thing?
Asian driver.
I'm cruising. I took a little offense. No,
Yeah.
it was fine. But that was like a period when I was still.
Biden nearly got assassinated by a Schwinn. So we all saw that. Fell off that bike. Remember
That's
that?
true. That's right. That didn't look good.
That did not look good.
Yeah, I always saw those photos from that sleepaway camp. It was like Jon Stewart, Jim Carrey, David Letterman, you, Chappelle. It was like all these killers and then like giant celebrities. I remember being like, oh, I'm stuck in this fucking apartment. It must be so fun to be out there.
He would have you guys out there in a heartbeat this summer if you guys want to go.
He actually texted me. I was in Ohio, and he texted me. He's like, "Do you want to come?" And I was already flying back, and I was like, I wish.
Well, he
Make
just
a
opened
trip.
a club there.
That's what I hear.
So he would love to have you guys go and just kill for any time.
I'll be killing it in about 4 or 5 months. Not yet.
I'm down.
You can go now, man. Just work shit out. Like that's one of the things about his club. I don't think his club is like finished product. Only like I think people are going there to work shit out. I'm actually going there next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? A political set?
I mean, I show up and just tell jokes that have nothing to do with politics. Happily.
Really?
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
What? Can we
Working on any bits?
Yeah, can we hear a few zingers? I mean, you don't have to give away your gold here, but if
Tell
you
you
got
what,
a quickie,
I'll make you guys a deal. Like, I'll just come by and work some shit out at the clubs here in New York.
hey,
Really?
I run a show, 2 shows at one
See,
at
I
the
knew
Cellar,
that
one at New York
that would
Comedy
be-
Club.
You know what I mean? And then
It's open door.
Are you going to run for mayor again?
There's a bit of time before I have to make that decision.
We could use you.
Yeah, I mean, people come up to me every day on the street, be like, "Dude, this guy's terrible." I was joking that if I were to run for mayor in 25, my slogan would be "Fuck this guy."
I think you would win off that.
Yeah, because everyone's like, "Man, fuck this guy." Like people literally just come up to me on the street and are just like, "Fuck this guy."
That'd be a bad one for Anthony Weiner to use.
Fuck this guy. So what would you be doing differently?
So part of the problem with Eric Adams, one, he hires cronies for all these jobs where you're like, what? Why is that person in that role? Like,
I think that's disgusting. Anyway, Salad Cubes, what do you think?
Crony number one here.
Oh yeah.
So that's issue one. Number two is you can tell the guy's just high in his own profile, majesty, whatever. Like it's really irritating. But
what shitty policies do you have that you could fix?
I
Bail
think
reform?
The single biggest thing that upsets me is that in part because he hires folks that aren't necessarily super on the ball, a lot of the agencies are under delivering on the basics. Like if you look at the stats around who gets let's call it money they're entitled to, like aid they're entitled to, food they're entitled to, the measurements have all gone the wrong direction. And so if you have the resources and it's literally your job and responsibility to deliver them, and then you're not delivering them promptly and reliably, then like people are just throwing their hands up, and that erodes trust pretty quick. So that to me is job one. If you're not delivering on the basics like that, some of the stuff that's happening, frankly, and I do have this projection sometimes, obviously, because you run for mayor and you think, wow, what would I be doing? And then I'll tell you guys a couple jokes. So when you run for mayor, cops come up to you all the time and be like, hey, Yang, if you win, I want on the security detail. Because it's full-time pay for, I think it's either 2 or 3 days because they rotate on and off. And so I was joking that we'd have a kumte to decide who's on my security detail, and like no guns. They'd all carry like nunchucks and
Asianize it.
I
like that.
I'd have like
That'd be kind of intimidating, honestly.
It'd be dope. It'd be
some guy tries to assassinate you. He takes a ninja star to the face.
Right.
It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, just have a bunch of MMA types walking around me all the time. So I went to a number of, I actually got endorsed by the police captains and the firefighters last time. And the guys are just such a bunch of studs.
And Mayor Adams is a former cop. That's got to hurt, right?
Well, and this did tick me off, guys, because I got endorsed by the police captains. And then I'm like, hey, guys, you realize that Eric Adams is a former police captain and this guy's just endorsed me. So, like, what the hell does that tell you?
Right.
And that did not get, in my opinion, like an appropriate level of coverage.
Maybe you'll get coverage here and get you some momentum in the next race.
Also, I think the cops are a little peeved, a little bitter about the whole defund.
Well, another thing that I would do differently is that right now the next number of police academy classes are not even confirmed yet, and we're down.
Yes,
we're
way
down. At least 1,000 cops, and folks who hit a certain point say like I'm out, and then some people who are actually just starting out are saying I'm out.
Wow.
So if I were mayor right now, I would literally just everywhere I went be like, if you want to serve New York, we need you. We need you to come and serve and protect and be the kind of police officer you want to see in your neighborhoods. Like please join the NYPD. And I just be a freaking recruitment billboard everywhere I went, because if you look at what's going on with cop enrollment right now, it's going down, retention's going down. The tragic death the other day is going to hurt at this level. I attended a cop's funeral when I was running for mayor, and like you see how how much they feel it. And a lot of folks are looking up saying, wait, like I can actually become a cop in another community, and like it's a better situation, and that's what you have to prevent, really, because you can't have cops leaving and then not replace them.
You got to work on your act. This is bomb. But no, you're right. You're
what
100%
incentive
right.
do you have to be a cop right now? Like, give us a sales pitch. What incentive do you have to be with the NYPD right now?
The impoverished neighborhoods get hurt the most by the no cops.
Well, you're talking about from the person's perspective, and you have to say, look, there's a good career here, a really good, stable career, and the truth is that you get a pension of 50% of your salary. after 20 years of service. And so there are folks, by the way, one of the stats that scares the shit out of me is that like 90% plus of the cops who are hitting the 20-year mark are saying, okay, I've done it, I'm out. Which in a way is, understandable, but in a way you're like, okay, I'm losing like all my experienced cops as soon as I hit that mark.
We need some Dennis Franz NYPD blue type cops. You need
some grizzled veterans.
Seen this before.
But if you were
that guy.
But if you were to say to someone, it's like, look, you put in 20 years, and then you'll get half your salary for the rest of your life, and you go to a young person. I mean, that's actually a fairly unusually good situation for a lot of people, because you start. Let's say in your mid 20s. I mean, I don't know how old you guys are, but like, imagine being able to quote unquote quasi retire in your mid 40s. I mean, that's
but you don't want to get them on money. You don't want to get them on a good gig.
Cops need sponsors. You got to get them like a deal with FanDuel or something. They get like some FanDuel credits, some Bitcoin. It can't just be the pension. You need other benefits. You're a cop. You're putting your life at risk.
Well,
I want a free 500 Knicks Pacers tonight.
Dude, I mean, we done and done. Where we'd be like, hey, look, every Knicks game, Mets game, I'm a Mets fan. We'll have like the allotment. I'm sure this stuff's already happening. I mean, the union's probably on this one. but the other thing is, I talked to a lot of cops during the race and after, and morale is a real thing. I mean,
morale's big.
So if you just came in and were like, look, guys, like, city is with you, city has your back.
I was waiting for that.
Because one of the problems they have is like, look, if I arrest some clown or drunk or whatever, like half the time,
That's both of us. We're both of those things.
I might get hurt, but then someone might record me like subduing the person after they did the crazy thing, and so there's like a lot of bad incentives right now in the system, and so you have to try and build a morale and say, look, guys, like, do the right thing for the city, we'll have your back.
Here. Yeah, because cops used to be high-fived, and now...
And I thank cops everywhere I go. Like, I see a cop. And I got to say, too, a lot of them recognize me, so then... it's like, it's a good feeling.
Linsanity.
Everywhere I go.
Yeah, that is nice. And cops love comedy. Cops are the best crowds.
I think
good crowds.
Because I
got a PBA card because I killed him from the cop show.
There you go.
That must have felt great.
It did feel good. He was like, just don't use it if... I was like, this works? He goes, yeah, just don't use it if you have like a child sex dungeon. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that would get me out of it.
Child sex? Oh, you're one of us?
Yeah.
I'm running a child sex dungeon. I'm like, not so fast, officer. I got this card.
And there's definitely bad apples, but there's bad apples at everything. But this is bad apples where it could kill somebody.
Yeah.
So
no, Rock's got that great bit. About it's kind of being a cop. It's like being a pilot.
Yes.
You kind of got to be perfect.
Right.
Yeah, you want good ones. You want ones that have the right motivation, the right character, the right makeup. Like come in, and then like if they're hopefully even making things better in their own neighborhood sometimes.
Oh yeah.
What are give me some peeves about like just general day-to-day peeves. What bothers you?
I mean, it's usual New York stuff, man. I mean, like you're out and about, and I mean, sometimes things are happening or not happening. You're like, like I don't remember this trash pile being quite so big.
Oh yeah, a lot of trash piles in this town. And then when you're walking by a trash pile at night, you're like, here come the rats. It's going to run right over my foot every single time, and it's
like
coming.
A scene of The Lion King, but it's just all rats running.
Yeah. They hold up a little rat. Yeah.
The remake.
Yes.
Live action. Disney live action.
What did you know Anthony Weiner at all?
I did not know Anthony.
That was crazy.
Come on, you were on that text thread.
I was like, Anthony, don't do it, man. I know you got a...
Also, nice piece.
Agree. I know you're proud.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I do know some of these characters, and on a good day, I actually feel bad for a lot of the political folks because that there's a lot of I mean, the press does take pot shots at people in different ways. And
who was it? Neil O'Donnell, who was the guy at MSNBC. He got a little carried away, I thought.
With Weiner?
Yeah. He just went at him so hard. I'm like, all right, the dude's already lost.
Isn't it great when the names match up like that? You got Weiner with the
Madoff.
dick pic, Madoff with your money.
Yeah.
There's other ones I can't think of right now.
Yeah.
Shit. Sorry, I should have had
P. Diddy.
P. Diddle. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get more. We'll come back. We'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back. On this one.
He's workshopping.
I swear I had one. I lost it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's a sad story for sure, but it is crazy that he like rose from the ashes and then it just happened again. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, people are forgiving too. It's true. This is one of the things also.
We do need to forgive. You're right.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, we're all human, and you see shit. Like if you look back on it, a couple generations ago, adultery would, end your career, and then post Clinton, everyone's like, and part of the reason why Trump is so strong is that, like the things that people are attacking him for, a lot of people look at it and say like, like that just talk. Or like that's what rich people do, or the this and that, and folks are losing confidence in the press in various ways. It's like you look at the relationship with the media. I mean, shit. By the way, I also, I'm friends with a bunch of comedians. I saw Shane Gillis just last week, and like different comedians have run afoul of the machine in various ways. And then you guys know these people, and you're like, oh, like what the hell's going on? Like who are they trying to cancel?
Well, you were a dude who came out in support of Shane when there was a lynch mob after him.
So I'll tell you the story. And by the way, I did this with you guys too. I spent the day watching your bits and your comedy, specials. And you guys are funny and smart. And it made me really happy to be here with you. So when the news hit about Shane Gillis, I also, first I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then I like started watching his clips and whatnot, and I was like, this guy's no malignant like this guy's like he's like
he's a chubby drunk.
Yeah, he's like a dude from Central PA who's
great
like,
dude,
just like trying stuff out,
and a killer comedian.
He's talk about an ascent over this last 2 years.
He's got a scent. Sorry,
smells great, Shane. You smell great. So I at the time, and I was one of the people that was personally insulted or attacked in the stuff that he was being fired for. So I was like, look, if I can at least come out and say like this dude should not be fired for this.
That's good. That takes balls.
As a personal, and my team too at the time, they were like, you didn't even like, because I was running for president at the time, and I had like a team.
Wow.
I was like, whatever, guys. I just like put it out there, and by the way, even at the time, I was like, they're probably going to fire him anyway because. From their standpoint, what had they really invested in him at that point?
Yes.
Really, next to nothing. So I was like...
And they were hiring an Asian cast member as well, so I wonder if they felt added pressure.
Of course, 100%.
Maybe. It's a good point.
They should be on the chopping block more than Shane, because you've never had an Asian. You've actually done a bad thing. He said a bad thing. To me, that's more offensive. I don't give a shit either way. I don't want anybody getting fired, but I'm just saying... If you're comparing the two wrongs, to me, not having an Asian is worse than saying a slur as a joke.
Oh, it goes back to the fact that all these folks are, it's like no show's gonna be perfect. No,
of course,
perfect. Certainly no comedian.
It's a comedy show.
But like for a comedian, in my mind, it's like a comedian has to go way, way, way out of bounds. In my mind, because it's freaking comedy. Like if you start circumscribing what comedians can say,
Exactly.
And I said this on Bill Maher one time. I was like, look. Like a comedian's job is not to tell us how to think. A comedian's job is just to entertain us, and it's a hard job.
Yeah.
So if you then like try and give them the responsibility of also telling people what to think, it's like like where the hell does that go? It goes no place.
Also, context is super important. He said it on a podcast trying to make a joke.
Clip.
Someone says something in a comedy club. That's the context. Now, if I'm saying that on the subway, you might have a problem with me.
Yeah, also body of work, as you just said. Like, okay, he is. This is who he is. You found one clip where he's not at his best, where he's doing something not good, but he invested in actually looking this guy up. He invested time being like, no, this is, I think, who this guy is. You can't judge someone by their worst moment and define them by that worst moment. It's fucking insanity.
Yeah,
yes, 100%. And it doesn't, bear with me here, but it's like they want to just take you down more than they actually care about the justice of it.
Oh, yeah, no, they don't care.
That's what bugs me. It's like it's one thing to try to save the world, but you're just doing it to ruin a person. You're not doing it to actually help. It's just like, hey, let me get my name out there, show that I took this guy down. I'm on the right side of history. it's not about helping anybody or people's lives or feelings. It's just about taking someone down. That's what kills me.
That's why
fake.
That's why I respected what Andrew did, because he was like, let's have a conversation. Let's be forgiving. Because I don't know what party you identify with right now, but like you were running as a Democrat, and you don't see that forgiveness model to be something they really subscribe to anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be the Republicans were the party of kind of like, you're in a lot of trouble, and it kind of switched, you know?
Yeah, totally. Like, I saw Bill Burr on Twitter once. Somebody called him a racist. And then a guy under it wrote, his wife's black. And the guy wrote, fuck you. And you're like, well, I thought you hated racism. So shouldn't you go, oh, shit, never mind. One less racist on the planet.
Well,
but you're like, damn it, I wanted to get him.
How often on Twitter do you hear, that's a good point?
I know. I'm just saying.
That's not what that's for.
My point is that he was trying to accuse this guy of being a piece of shit.
Right.
And when he was proven wrong, he got mad. But you should be like, oh, I hate racists. Great. He's not racist. But they don't. They actually want to get you. It's not about the racism.
You're right. It's like you're trying to checkmate you. And when they realize it's not checkmate, they're like, they flip the fucking board.
Right. You should be happy if you're so against racism.
Yeah. I'd say 80% of it's social media mechanics and incentives. Because, you do get status and points for sticking it to someone. And I was trying to imagine, it's like, if you got rid of X, like, it's hard to cancel someone because
I hate X. Get rid of it.
It's like, how do you even do it? Yeah. I mean, Twitter definitely has, been a tool for folks who want to try and ruin people. And by the way, it's not just people in entertainment. Academics. I mean, there are multiple academics that I know who've had their careers ruined because they put something out on social media. And a part of it, too, is like, and this is like the messed up mechanics, is like, well, then just like don't go on social media if you're one of these folks. But then some of the universities are like, oh, no, go on social media because we want you to be part of the conversation.
Yeah. Violence.
Yeah, et cetera, et cetera. So
have you met Elon Musk? Have you hung out with him?
Sure. He endorsed me in 2022.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had a whole set of really fascinating endorsers in 2020.
And did you have any time to hang out with him?
Sure. I got a tour of SpaceX and hung out with him and Grimes.
All right. What about Epstein?
Yeah, I missed that one.
We would have all said yes to that plane ride. Let's be honest. Before we knew,
happily, that was before my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the soundbite he wants. Andrew Yang says yes, he would have gone on Epstein's plane
before. I would have gone to P. Diddy's too. I'm just, 5 years ago.
Back then, I was just a dude. I'm still.
It's a rapper party.
It's what's funny is, and I was telling Dave this, like when we were hanging out in Iowa, I was like, 5 years ago, I just bought a ticket to see you in Radio City, and like we were hanging out in Iowa together.
How do you think we feel? We voted for you for mayor, and now you're
here, and now you're like, oh, like I voted for that guy.
I think you should run again.
I agree.
Thanks, guys.
Asians are having a moment. They really are.
That's your bumper sticker. Andrew Yang. Asians are having a moment.
Ali Wong, Joe Coy. Yeah. I feel like this is the time.
I think you're a New York guy. You speak to a lot of different types of New Yorkers. I think.
Squid Game, Parasite.
Those aren't all. This is getting worse.
Those are Korean. I know that's Korean, but I'm saying Asian. Shogun is on TV.
All right, you're digging deeper.
I'm just saying Asians are. This is your time, baby.
I do have a bunch of friends who are getting more work than they.
That's all I'm saying. Strike while the samurai sword is hot.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
I've never seen a silence say I regret coming here so much.
No, I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of friends who are in those shows.
They're great shows. I don't see the problem with what I'm saying.
Literally, I'm like watching them in the show and I'm texting, be like, hey man, you're great in this. So
I watched Shogun last night.
I heard it's good.
It's pretty good. It's like a Japanese Game of Thrones, I'd say.
Yeah, Shogun's worth watching.
I'm going to check it out.
There you go.
There's a lot of good stuff, man. Stuff.
Oh, yeah. So much. I heard this John Wilkes Booth show is amazing.
Really?
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, it's a great premise. It's about him on the run after shooting Lincoln. That's fucking good stuff right there. Were you worried about getting clipped? That's a fear of a politician.
Yeah.
I know. There was the occasional threat and then occasional law enforcement protection if the threat rose to a certain level. But
crazy people.
Any slurs?
I mean, I didn't actually see some of the language. I would just get word from someone. It's like, hey, there's been a credible threat, so you're going to have like an extra layer of security for like this period.
Damn. Sure, the wife hates that.
Yeah, sometimes they wouldn't tell her because, I mean, she doesn't need to know that stuff.
No, that's not going to help.
It's weird. I remember when Obama won, there was that thing where you're like, fuck, I really hope he's going to be okay. There was like that scary moment. Then once after he was okay, I think there was like a moment where like, all right, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're still nervous, but it's...
Well, I mean, now, like,
now you're fine.
Yeah, now it's like, I mean... I'm just a
procrastinating assassinator. Yeah, I was supposed to do this 4 years ago. It slipped my mind.
Yeah, well, Chappelle had that great joke and Killed Him Softly, which is, old as shit. It's probably 1999 special, but he's like, I don't want to be a black president, so for protection, I'll have a Mexican vice president. Ain't that right, Santiago? See, it was a great bit. But then we had a black president for 2 terms, and it was all fine.
Yeah,
I think. Not maybe we just didn't know anybody, or hear about any assassination attempts, but I think it was gravy. Everybody liked Obama.
I feel like New York too is also like, you just don't think of it as like a place where you're going to get shot. I don't know. I hope not.
Says John Lennon.
Ooh,
wow.
That was 1980, but
all right.
You make a good case.
So why do you think RFK is not getting Secret Service protection?
Yeah, what's
going on?
He's a Kennedy.
No, I actually remember looking into this somewhat when I was a candidate, and they have thresholds and rules. Now, it could also be that they just don't want to give RFK protection.
He could get assassinated.
Yeah, they've had bad luck.
He's had in his family.
Rule of threes.
So I remember when I was running, the rules they set out, they told us were like, no one gets any security until you're the nominee.
Okay.
And so we're like, all right, that's one threshold. Now in RFK's case, he's running as an independent, so there's no real nomination. And so what RFK is saying is, look, anyone who polls above a certain threshold should qualify. And I think there have been polls that have put him above that threshold.
Yeah.
It's pretty legit. And like I'm all for people being able to campaign without fear for their safety. But one of the reasons why I think that, there'd probably be 3 things that come to mind for me as to why the government would resist. Number one is precedent, which is like any independent candidate who runs and gets above a certain threshold to be like, hey, now I get Secret Service. Number 2 is it actually adds legitimacy to that person, because if they're walking around campaigning and then there's Secret Service rotating around, and it seems like awfully presidential.
Sure.
And number 3,
interesting.
That protection layer is very, very expensive.
I see.
Like you're talking about like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day.
Yeah, who's paying for that?
And so it would be a government expense.
Damn.
Wow.
And so those are, I think, like or it could just be like, they don't give a shit and they blah blah blah. But
could you outsource it? Get a couple migrants. Hey, here's a cool 50 if you stand near me.
I'm
just saying we outsource everything else. Why not? These guys need work.
Yeah. We'll pitch it.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I have people in common with RFK, and I'm not an enormous fan of the 2-party system delivering what we need. So
forward,
so if there is, if there's a case to be made for him to get protection, especially considering his family history.
Yeah,
agreed.
Who do you think he's pulling more votes from?
No, I've seen Trump, I've seen Biden, I've seen no effect. So at this point, it's a little bit of a guessing game, honestly.
Yeah. So you're voting RFK, it sounds like.
I'm an anyone but Trump guy, and so anything I'm going to do is going to be to try and minimize the chance of Trump winning, because I think if Trump gets back in, it's a catastrophe, genuinely.
Do you think he's going to win, though?
I think the election's held today, he probably wins.
Wow. There's a soundbite.
It's funny. I mean, I just, first time he won, I didn't really believe he was going to win, but I remember being on the road. I remember being on the road enough, seeing people that really loved him, being like, I mean, people fucking love him.
Yeah.
You said like road comics, we see the country. I'd talk to people and I'd be like, wow, they fucking be in Phoenix. These people love him.
You talk about the cops, cops seem to love him. So he's resonating for sure.
Yeah, I can give you the math case as to why I think he would win right now. But
Michigan?
Only 6 states are going to matter.
Yeah.
It's Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
And you're thinking about your type of those states. But if you look at the numbers in those states, Trump is up in all of them right now, except for Pennsylvania, which is a toss-up. And some of them...
Well, Biden's got history there, you know.
And some of them Trump's up significantly in. He's up by 8 in one poll I saw in Michigan, 8 in one poll I saw in Georgia. So you look at that landscape right now, and Trump probably wins today. And so the question is, does that change between now and November? Joe's going to have a lot of money as a financial advantage. Does the money move voters in those states? The problem is that most people have made up their minds. About 7% of voters are genuine swing voters, and there are a bunch of people in that 7% who voted for Trump and then Biden, and then now they're like, oh, what am I going to do?
Oh, interesting.
And so those are the voters, but only in those 6 states. Where we are right now, is essentially irrelevant.
Well, the left is in a weird spot because I feel like they're really zoning in on Trump with like the court stuff and the fees and the maybe going to jail. But then they'll do like a trans visibility day, and I think that hurts them
on Easter.
And I think,
but hasn't that been around forever?
Trans visibility
Hasn't
day.
that been around for years?
Yeah. It's just it ordinarily just doesn't fall on Easter.
Well, stuff like that, people go, and I don't give a shit either way. Whatever the hell, I don't care. But I'm like, that's gonna hurt them. So stuff like that, I'm like, where it's an election year, man. If you're trying to win, maybe don't do that.
You want them to change the calendar?
Well, don't do it on Easter, I'm saying. Do it on the day after Easter.
I mean, to me, these issues are so fucking insignificant.
I agree. I'm talking about the people.
Yeah.
I think that pissed off a lot of people.
If you could sway half of that 7%, you can win an election.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, those little things add up, and he's had other stuff like that. And it's like, hey, here he goes again. Well, that's, I'm from Louisiana. I hear this shit.
And going full circle, you know who I think speaks to that 7%? Comedians. Genuinely.
Hey, don't put us on. We're nobody. Yeah. We're not important. We're idiots.
I think it's the first time we've ever talked politics on the podcast. We try to stay apolitical here, so I apologize.
For good reason. But one thing I'm saying, so, it's politics, blah, blah, blah. Like, in my mind now, it's more about, do you believe in institutions or not? And what happens is a lot of people who do not believe in institutions actually believe in their favorite comic. They like them. They want to show up for them. I mean, I see this for different.
But don't you think it's a problem, like when you watch late night and every single late night host is doing the same jokes with the same point of view, and I think there's a need for escapist comedy too.
Definitely.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and a lot of that stuff happens on the road and on YouTube. So that's one of the things. It's like you're the institutions. The institutions include, frankly, the media networks where the talk shows you're talking about are on every night.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole other universe, and I think a lot of the folks we're talking about in the 7% do not listen to TV network A, B, and C. They're listening to podcasts and everything else. Like you're a podcaster, whomever. By the way, that's how I came up too, because I'm running for president. It's 2019. Cable networks essentially want nothing to do with me. So how did I come up? It was Rogan. It was Sam Harris. It was different podcasts. And then I became a big enough a thing where then networks were like, okay, let's have this guy on. He's talking about something.
You need credits to get on the network.
Yeah, right.
It's a weird thing where you're like, why you need credits to come on, but you're a credit. So like, how do I get the thing to get the thing? Everyone wants you to have a thing.
It's very circular, and so and for me it was wild. And so thank you, Yang Gang, if you're listening to this, but. So what happened with me was I got enough support in terms of polling and money where then some of the major networks were like, well, like, let's just have this dude on because he, made the third debate, made the fourth debate, like outlasted half a dozen political brand names. And I look back on that time too, and it was funny is that campaign was a race against oblivion all the time because as soon as you get below a certain threshold, then they kick you off the debate stage. The networks will have nothing to do with you and you disappear. And so there was a joke with me and my team where I was like the Grim Reaper of presidential candidates, where after I pass you, you die. And as soon as I pass someone in the polls, they would drop out like the next week. Like there's a joke, it's like it's all fun and game until Andrew Yang passes you in the polls.
Oh, interesting.
So I'd like creep along. And if you remember that cycle, there were 24 candidates in that field, including fucking Bill de Blasio. If you remember
Wow.
this shit. Like I ran into him.
He
in
got
Iowa.
cocky, that guy.
I ran into him, and, so it's like...
He was hated in New York, and he was like, I should run for president. We're like, no, you don't understand. We don't like you.
Yeah.
So there was a massive field.
Yeah.
And then I was, one of the massive field, and I just kept marching up. But a lot of that was podcasts. And so there's like this universe. And there's unfortunately this.
What was the biggest bump that you first noticed where you were like, holy shit, this is real?
I mean, after Rogan, then I would get recognized on the street.
Yeah.
And
that was YouTube Rogan.
Yeah. That was clearly like a massive like momentum boost and campaign changer, really. And we started raising real money. That was early 2019. And then I ended up making the first 2 debate stages, probably in large part because of Rogan.
Yeah, well, you were a numbers guy. And I think we got to come back to that a little. We need some data. I feel like we're getting a little wishy-washy with everything.
And
it's nice to see some analytics.
Yeah, I'm in the camp. We just want shit to work.
Yes.
Want to solve problems. Like, whatever the numbers say is going to make the situation better. Let's do that. And the Democratic Party sometimes will be like, oh, that's us. And it's like, not so much anymore. Like, you guys have a whole nother set of things that are animating you that really are not necessarily numbers driven or data driven and the rest of it. On the Republican Party too, by the way, it used to have a bunch of folks who are essentially moderate business types who are into that approach to things. And then, that's kind of gotten squeezed out. So I'm with you. Like, we just, math.
Let's just fix shit.
For like, make America think harder. Let's just fix shit. 42% of the people who supported me in 2020 weren't Democrats.
Wow.
In part because they were just looking at it being like, this guy just seems like a business guy that, reminds me of people that I've worked with. And
yeah.
Like,
And you're a normal guy. You don't seem like a swindler, like some of these hucksters out there. These
I wonder if it's weird. I wonder if conservatives are more open-minded in that regard, because do you think if you ran on the Republican ticket, would you have that kind of favorability, from the left?
It's funny. I was in Alabama not that long ago. I've like a life that's probably a little bit like your life, but this clearly conservative guy comes up to me and was like, Mr. Yang, like, I don't agree with you on a whole hell of a lot, but you got a set of balls on you, sir, and I want to just shake your hand. And I was like, oh, it's like, so there's like a conservative camp that's just like, I'm fine with Yang. He seems like a sensible business guy. And there was a Fox viewing mom who said something that really stuck with me, where someone just interviewed her on Fox and said, hey, which of the Dems would you vote for? And she's like, Yang, because he's the only one who doesn't seem like he's judging me.
Ooh.
And that's like a lot of what's going on in America.
Elitism.
Right now, where like they feel like the Democratic Party is the judgy party.
Sure.
And like, no one
Democrats
wants to,
are like my mom.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah. What that's interesting.
I feel that. I'm from Louisiana, and all my relatives are pretty red, and they feel the same way. They're like, these fucking people on Capitol Hill and Hollywood and boopity boop, and you're like, yeah, it's not all of them, but that's what they think, and they feel judged.
And the problem is that you just have like 2 sides of this coin, and so for each of them, you just be like, oh, what about those people? What about those people? And it's like, whatever they are, I'm on the opposite side.
Exactly.
And so you wind up in these 2 camps, and then the problems get unaddressed.
Because of cable news, though, don't you think that's the big part? Is like the networks like Fox get such crazy viewership. Whatever you get your news, it's now an algorithm geared to how you already think. So how are you going to get out of that mindset?
Right.
Yeah, I write about this in Forward as well. So you have the polarization of cable news, the nationalization of news, because you got rid of 2,000 plus local papers. Local papers used to be straight up the middle. Like, you guys remember growing up in Louisiana, there's some local paper.
Yeah, non-opinion.
Yeah, because it's hard to be ideological about high school sports and the bridge needing repairs and other shit.
That's what I want to see, though. Really opinionated high school sports. This guy stinks.
Right.
And then you get rid of that, and then it gets replaced by your social media feed and cable news. So
Echo
people end up
chamber.
getting divided into either camp. And then, by the way, these cable news channels too, like their business model is not humming in some ways too. So they're driven by their own economics to be like, oh, we got to be a little more sensationalist.
Yes.
Sure.
And aggressive. And anytime they do something that challenges their viewers, they fucking change the channel.
Right.
Like I'm not here to be challenged. I'm here to get that red meat I want or that blue meat I want.
So they're incentivized to stay extreme.
Yes. And you have media putting us into corners. You have social media putting us into corners, and then the political incentives. And I don't want to get too nerdy on this shit, but
Nerd out, baby.
But what is the approval rating of Congress right now?
Not good.
It's got to be pretty low.
Lower than 20%.
Yeah, it's like 15%. Maybe it was 12% in one. What is the re-election rate for current members of Congress?
Over 80%.
Oh, is that right?
94%.
Whoa! Numbers, baby. This is good stuff.
It's a better win
crazy.
rate than the Jordan-era Chicago Bulls.
Wow.
So one of the jokes,
But they're really the Washington Wizards, essentially.
no, and so
the bullets.
so I joke with people. It's like, hey, how many of you run a business? Like, what would your customers be like if you were to piss off 8 out of 10 of them and then change nothing? Like,
Great
year after year?
point. Great point.
And that's the way most people feel about politics now. It's like, oh, these fucking jokers, blah, blah, blah. And it's because the system has been built up in a way that insulates them from us. And that's why people are so fucking angry. And so you have the polarization of the electorate and then media and then social media. It's going to get worse, not better. By the way, I'm literally giving a TED talk on this shit at TED in April, like the actual TED.
I thought you meant right now.
So, I mean, it's a joke. It's like, welcome to my TED talk. But I'm actually going to TED and giving this talk.
Great.
So keep an eye out. I'll be, dressed differently and on a fancy stage. And
You get the mic, this mic, this one?
I'll use whatever the mic they give me. And I'm just going to roll in and bang this thing.
There you go. Well, as a guy who does the road, I think we think of the left and the right as this long line. It's actually kind of horseshoed.
Yeah, totally.
And they're kind of meeting, the psychos are meeting in the middle, and they don't even realize it. They're the same people. They're just different sides.
There's so many fucking Bernie Trump voters out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, if Bernie had won in 2016, like, he beats Trump. Trump beats
Do you
Hillary.
think, yeah.
But if you had Bernie in there, Bernie would have beaten Trump.
Do you think
Because they're a
Bernie,
bunch
if he
of Trump
beat
voters.
Biden, would have beaten Trump last time?
This last
In
time,
20?
I think in 20, it was Biden. And I was there. I literally was like next to Joe and Bernie, during the debates and on the campaign trail. I think it was Biden's time in 2020. And you guys might not know this, whatever. Like, I was campaigning for a guy named Dean Phillips who's running against Joe Biden in the Democratic nomination, because I was like, look, a 55-year-old CEO of Talenti Gelato is a much better foil for Trump than Joe is this time. And so it's funny. It's like energy coalesces around candidates in different cycles. I thought 16 was Bernie's time. But the fact that that the DNC, frankly, in my opinion, like kind of shoved it to Hillary.
That makes sense.
I don't think it's just your opinion. I think that's
Yeah, sure.
Kinda how it was.
So on the side. I still get texts from Bernie too, because
Whoa, he can text?
not
no, the mailing list.
from
Big
his list,
print.
from his mailing list.
Oh, okay.
I get a lot.
I have a question.
Jitterbug.
Like what you just said about running into that guy in Alabama, and he meets you, and you tell this story. I believe that happened to you, but how often are you watching TV and they're doing a debate and they're like, a man came up to me in West Virginia and he had one leg, and you're like, this didn't fucking happen,
Right.
Like, how much of that's made up?
I hope not all of it. Like, for me, I didn't make shit up. And one of the things, it's like, I tell a story. It's like, I don't know that guy's name. I could probably like find out. And I'm going to be back in Birmingham, Alabama this June for something slightly different. How much do politicians make stuff up? I genuinely don't know. Like, I didn't make shit up. There was enough real shit to go on, so it wasn't necessary. But I do think that folks distort things and stretch the truth sometimes for like a good story. And which, by the way, it's like, on one hand, again, you're a human being.
Yeah.
It's like, if you say, hey, I did some boring shit, it's not a good story. But like, hey, I did some boring shit, and then there were bullets flying, and I saved the baby, and like the rest of it, then it's like,
Well, I know people change, people evolve, but you see a lot of politicians where they say a thing, and then they cut to them 10 years ago, and they're saying the exact opposite, and you're like, well, now I don't know who to believe. And they go, well, I've evolved. And you're like, you just happen to evolve with the way the wind is blowing? Come on. I mean, how many people were against gay marriage? And then when gay marriage was like, maybe we should let this happen. They're like, oh, I've always loved gays getting married, and I'm gay, and my dad's gay, and all that. And you're like, well, what about that whole thing? So then that's why we don't believe politicians a lot.
Well, this is my mission in life, by the way, is that politicians respond to whatever incentives are around them.
That's what I'm saying.
So during that period when it was not cool to be pro-gay marriage, it's like, were some of them privately for gay marriage? Of course. But
then have the balls to say that.
There was like...
I would think most of them are like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Why is this an issue? Like, this is, between two other people that have nothing to do with my life,
So and this is something I do... I mean, I've lived a version of it. I've written about it somewhat. So you have these political figures, and then they have all these incentives that are not great, and then they have a team around them. And the team around them has the incentives taken up to 11 because they're all like, look, I have to get a job after you.
I see.
And so they'll be like, here are the guardrails. Don't do this. Don't do that. You do this. And what's interesting is that a lot of political figures, they probably start out in a certain way being like, I'm going to do my own thing. And then when they go off script and then they get, shivved by, let's call it the press or whomever, then they'll be like, oh, that sucked. And their team's like, yeah, I told you so. Don't do that again. And
so these are experts in telling you where to step and where not to step.
And guys, it was so wild. So check it out. Random man run for president. No one gives a shit. Whatever. Doing my thing. And then after Rogan, after we get this momentum behind us, then money starts coming in, and then this small army of consultants shows up, and then the team is a little bit like. Okay, there are these consultants, and part of you is like, well, fuck these consultants. Who the hell are they? But then some of them you actually kind of need. Because let's say you were me, you raised $40 million, you're trying to become president in this Democratic race. You know what you've never done before? Buy ads in New Hampshire. And so there's a consultant who's like, okay, like we have the media relationships. Here's what you buy. And then here's like the ad firm and the consultant we recommend for this. And you're not going to be like, fuck you. I'm going to like figure out what TV networks and so obviously you have to be like, well, I need some of what
right. Same with comedy. We got to cut clips. We don't have to do any of that shit. Had to edit video.
Before we were here, we were talking about business stuff. We're complete imbeciles. I have a question though. I mean, you talk about raising $40 million. How many people are running? How much money do we waste on elections every year? Is there a party that's like, man, if we just had less people, we could do something good with all this money? I don't know.
So to the extent that there's a group that wants that to happen, I'd say Forward, which I'm the co-chair of, is in that camp. There are other organizations like Unite America, Represent Us, which a bunch of Hollywood types are involved with, that are trying to get money out of politics because the money's killing us. Over $10 billion is going to get spent in 24 beating each other up. And you know who's going to benefit? TV networks. Spend all that stuff. And then I joke with people, it's like, how much is going to get spent bringing us back together after? It's like nothing. It's like, what else could you do with $10 billion? A whole lot. By the way, a lot of it too, it's like it's negating anyway. I mean, there are some people who are literally just donating to both sides because it's like, I'm covered no matter who wins. I mean, like talk about a waste. So one of the diseases of this is that you're going to need money to disrupt this system. And so when I talk about the 40 million, like, almost 500,000 Americans donated, I think it was on average, it was like $39 to give us a chance to compete.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that, Mark. It was all Mark.
Yes, I threw it.
I want to see receipts, Mark.
All right.
I can check that shit, actually.
Check it.
I can go my person and be like, hey, can you look up his name? But
we want to do this on air.
So you're trying to up and I will say too, one reason why I think some folks got behind the campaign is that for creatives like yourselves, like it's getting worse and worse, honestly, and AI is going to make it much worse too.
AI.
And one of the reasons why I think some people got behind me was that there was like this vision I had of this
truck driving.
of this more advanced economy, where people have just some level of resources natively, and then a lot of it ends up going into arts, creativity, culture, philanthropy, like blah blah blah, and the rest of it. Because right now you have this winner-take-all economy. It's getting harsher and more punitive and less human, and it's just squeezing people out more and more. And you guys have already, in my view, have already reached a point where you're gonna be fine and excellent and great.
We'll see.
What a load off.
You know what I mean? Like, you guys are on your way. And I say this mainly because you guys are fucking talented. You guys are really good at what you do.
Jeez.
Really smart.
Did not expect this to go this way. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, same. I should have donated more.
Genuinely, I'm a fan, and you have a lot of other fans out there, and you're going to be great and gravy. But this is a harsher and harsher environment for creators in different ways.
People coming up. I mean, we think, Mark and I got very fortunate, and one of the reasons we did break went the way we did, and we bet on ourselves. We did YouTube and stuff, but the oversaturation, how people break now, I think it's going to be tougher for the next generation of comics, but they'll find a new way.
Same. I mean, it is true. I think it was Bill Burr actually said to Shane something, and it's true for you guys too. He's like, you're going to be fine because you're funny.
Right.
It's probably true of just about anyone that, like, if they're genuinely,
they'll find new ways to break
funny,
through.
they'll get there. But you're also right that you wouldn't necessarily wish, like, this period on folks behind you. I think about it all the time. Like, I mean, I've had a crazy, wild ride, but I imagine like a younger version of me trying to like do the same stuff. It's like, I don't know if that shit's because like times are going to change. I look at my kids. I'm a parent, and sometimes people ask me, it's like, hey, do you want your kids to do the same thing that you do? And I'm just like,
No way.
I'm not sure that would be wise.
Be an architect.
So you guys are on the other side of it, but like one of the things, and I'll actually come back to you guys with this, is that I'm still grinding away at trying to humanize the economy in different ways, and I'm working on something that's good for creators. So I'll come back to you guys when it's like further along.
Well, did you see that study where it said AI, if you didn't graduate high school, it'll only affect you like 9%. If you graduated high school, it'll affect you 19%. If you graduated from college, it'll affect you like 38%, because that's the jobs it's going to take, those college level jobs. We need plumbers, we need
and
roofers.
that's just very hard to automate.
Exactly.
Like, can you imagine trying to get a robot HVAC repair person? Impossible. But like a robot accountant, like, pretty doable.
Easy. And that was
one of those Jewish robots.
yeah, they don't work Saturday.
Do you guys want to work on any bits and run them by Mr. Yang to punch it up?
I don't know.
I'll do one.
Give me one.
You go one. I'll do one too.
Okay, I had one. This happened a while. It was like, I don't know if I've ever done this in the podcast. It happened a while back, but so there's a joke that happened. I ran into a friend. He saw me. That friend you hate running into, but you run into. You know what it is too. I'll tell you off air. It's not funny. You. But I run into this guy. He goes, I saw you on a date having an ice cream cone like a little homo. And I was like, first of all, I was on a date with a woman. Second of all, how homophobic are you that you can't enjoy ice cream?
Right.
And third, how gay would he think I was if he knew I was really eating sorbet? But I want to do a thing about like the idea that you're so homophobic you can't enjoy dessert. Yeah. Like no sweets. That's how close you are to being gay.
Right.
Like you're at a restaurant, they're like, we have a lovely tiramisu this evening. And he's like, nice try. Something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and by his logic, Halloween is the Pride Parade. It's all candy. The whole holiday is based on candy.
That's funny.
It's all sweets.
There's something there.
All right.
I'll try. I'm going to try it again.
That's funny. It's sweets. We all love. And is every kid gay? I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We all love. You give a woman a box of chocolates. Are they a lesbian?
I guess it's because of the licking, the cone.
It's
but
the licking.
I'm like,
because a banana, he might do the same thing. So it might not be sweets.
But it lasts longer if you lick it.
Uh-oh, that's the gayest thing I've ever heard.
I don't know. You got anything, Mark?
Yeah, that's funny. Mine's a little darker, so buckle up there, Yangy. So I was thinking, my friend, she's very new age, hippy-dippy, holistic, and she's got 2 kids, and all they eat is free-range organic chicken. But all the kids do is play video games. So I thought it was interesting that kids have become cooped up, whereas they used to be free range, and now chickens are free range where they used to be cooped up. We flipped chickens and kids.
Yeah, like cannibals. Something about cannibals are like, fuck this kid. This kid never moved.
Well, that's where I was going to go.
Kids are basically veal now.
Kids are veal.
Yeah.
They were just shoving food and chemicals down their throat, and they don't move. They have no muscle mass. It's like veal. But I went pedophile. So I one of these elite pedophiles have a menu like, I want the free-range kids who've been running around and riding bikes. I don't want the fucking fat kid.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do some diddling.
I would lose fuck a fat kid. I wouldn't say fuck a fat kid.
Diddle, squeeze, molest.
I want the fat. I don't want that fat kid.
Yeah, he's pumped full of chemicals and cereal and junk food and no muscle.
This guy's gonna run for president again, you guys. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm doing a bit. Thoughts, Yang, Andy, anything? How about
I think there's
Nicks?
something. I think there's something there.
Okay, maybe Cannibal is softer.
Cannibal is kind of fun too, but pedophile is more likely.
Cannibals are pretty rare.
They're rare.
Although that might be the next thing we all have to get behind. Hey, my cousin's a cannibal. I'm pro-cannibal. I'm cannibal tolerant.
We have to apologize to Armie Hammer. He'll be back. What happened with that guy?
He's out.
He's out.
He's done. Done.
Check out the book Forward by Andrew Yang. I'm going to read it. I'm looking forward to this. This is
the audio.
Got a lot of good names in it. You got Mark Cuban.
Hey,
Van Jones. All right, Kara Swisher. Look at that.
Van Jones. He can get it. He's a hunk.
You like him?
He's sexy. Those little glasses. Oh, yeah. He's a hot black guy.
Yeah, he's good on there. I like that guy. Well,
You got the dates.
Oh, you're doing some
that stuff's in the past.
Oh, man.
Anything new? Houston Improv, Irvine
You're
Improv.
really doing comedy.
Cobb's Comedy Club, Denver Comedy Works. Look at you.
Wow, I didn't know those dates were still up there, but they were a minute ago. Yeah,
We're one and the same. We could be doing the same.
We are one and the same,
gigs.
guys.
These politicians, they're taking our jobs.
You have little to fear.
I know. I heard your police chunk.
I heard Mike Huckabee tried stand-up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Huckster.
I have a friend, do you know Baratunde?
Yeah.
He used to run my show back
Sure,
then. Thurston. Great guy.
Good egg.
He told me Huckabee, very likable on stage, and they don't have a lot in common.
I could see that.
But the bits weren't great, he said, but
I wonder if Trump, if he loses, he could just pivot into stand-up and do arenas.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Trump and friends?
Oh, my God. Bring out a couple of...
That's pretty much what he's doing now, guys.
He kind of is.
I guess that's true. And he's got merch. He's already got merch.
Got it all.
Yeah.
He
He's
just gets
making
up
a killing.
there.
Trump is basically Bert.
Yeah.
He's basically Bert Kreischer. Playing big venues. He's selling a ton of merch.
Yeah, good point.
Fully bloated tour.
Yeah.
All right.
Norman,
Is this
what are you
me?
gonna be?
Yeah, it's Mark.
All right. Hey, I'm in Buffalo, New York, Syracuse, Minneapolis, Madison, Wisconsin, Bloomington, Evansville, L.A., Coachella, Victoria, B.C., Vancouver, Royal Oak, Michigan, all the swing states, Fort Wayne, West Palm, Boston, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Spokane, Philly, MarkNormanComedy.com. Check us out on Punch Up. Get the book.
BodegaCatWhiskey.com. I got nothing on the schedule right now. I just burned an hour with the special out July 9th on a major streamer. I wasn't supposed to say where it is, but you guys, if you listen, you know where it's going to be.
Can we bleep that? Or
No, it's already out.
It's out.
That was in the Shane episode.
Great.
But I will be in Atlantic City in June 22nd with Krista Stefano. That's going to be a fun one.
Hell yeah.
We're competing against Frankie Valli, so come see us. I know. I'd rather see Frankie Valli.
He's
but
good.
He's good. He's like
I heard
89.
he's lost it. So you go see Sambo.
Oh, and he keeps putting this picture up because he wants us to show it. Matt Salacuse took this picture of Andrew Yang.
You got everybody. You got Yang, Rihanna, Kanye.
We had Robert Smigel on last week, and he just pulls up a picture, and Smigel goes, "Oh, I know that." And he goes, "I took it." He's taking everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That gets around.
Noah Baumbach.
Yeah, get around.
Got everybody.
Everybody.
But see us on the road. Buy Bodega Cat at BodegaCatWhiskey.com. We're basically sold out of our first batch, which is insane. We love you guys, and we might be legal at this point in New York now.
Hopefully.
I guess maybe we'll throw this in.
If not now, soon, very soon.
But yeah, buy Andrew's book. Is it on Audible too?
Yeah. I spent a number of hours dictating that thing. So
Ugh.
Wow.
Yikes.
All right. Check it out.
you can, go to 1.5x, 2x, whatever.
Oh, there you go.
Well, and run for mayor again, man.
Yeah, would you please? Run
Thanks,
for
guys.
something.
If I do, you guys are gonna have to come campaign.
We'll open.
We'll do shtick for you. We'll do a fundraiser.
I'll do the free range pedophile bit.
Oh,
out
my
of the
God.
Gate.
I'll do the sucking cock ice cream chunk.
Yeah.
We'll have you.
Can't lose then.
We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Andrew Yang.
Comedy.
Good to be here. Thanks, guys.
Sunday's the day for my next offender. A bit of Peeves wreck, you know the beer juice close. I've had a little too much bourbon, and Norman's talking shit about the fucking Pope. And and I get down in the same way. Up on the roof like a cop's coming, and naked Samuel is feeling dangerous. I'm out to lunch here in New